Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Welcome back. Let's go ahead. CA, Inter, Tax, Direct Tax, pgbp, disallowed expenses. We have started disallowances starting from section 37 2B going up to 43B. We are done with 37 2B, fixed feature in every exam. We are done with 40 small a, part 1 and part 2. Part 1, part 2 will also always come. Part 1 was all types of direct taxes will be disallowed, and part 2 was TDS related violation. Payer can do or payer will do two types of violation. Part 1, type 1, not deducted only. Is that a violation? And second, deducted but not deposited to the government up to the due date of return filing. Correct hai? If the payee is resident, then we disallow 30%. If the payee is non-resident, then we disallow 100%. But by chance you pay in a future year, which is also a previous year, there will be computation of that year also. So this expense which you have violated this year, the payment terms, the payment rules, you have reversed your violation, you have rectified your violation. So in that future year, that same expense will become allowed expense, because that also is a previous year. No, in that year it will be allowed expense. Of course, that year it won't be debited now, because it was already debited in the current year. So current year add and that year you less. Correct hai? Part 3 of 40 small a. If you are a state government undertaking, an organization which is owned and controlled by the state government, majority stake belongs to the state government, 60, 70, 80% belongs to the state government. There may be some minority shareholders, but major ownership is of the state government. This organization is paying to the state government itself some amount in the nature of license fee, some amount in the nature of registration fee, some amount in the nature of privilege fee, an amount in the nature of royalty, etc. Any of these payments made by whatever name they may be called, this expense is going to be fully disallowed. A company which is under the control of state government is passing its profits to the state government. How? License fee, privilege fee, registration fee, royalty. The amount so paid is going to be fully disallowed. Sir, why? Sir, this is the law. Now the question is why? Because if I have to take a license for my business, it is my business expense. If I have to pay royalty on any asset, it is my business expense. My privilege fee, registration fees, these are my business expenses. Then why? Because business expenses should be allowed. No, permission to do business is still a business expense. Think about it. Related to business, no? You know, a license may be capital expense to take depreciation, but at least don't disallow. No? There is a hidden secret here. There is a hidden secret here. Who is the biggest shareholder of this organization? State government. Government nahi, state government. This organization has earned lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of profits. The moment the profits came here, this organization, the state government was like, wow, profit, wow. I want this money. I want this profit from year to year. It's very easy. You are the biggest shareholder. Declare dividend and move the profits from the company to the shareholders. Government is the shareholder. But declaration of dividend will come with a problem. And the problem is, we own 80%. There will be 20% minority shareholders. We call it Bhikari in Mumbai and Bhikshakarak in Kerala. There will be 20% minority shareholders also, no? Those beggars. If you give dividend to one person, you will have to give dividend to everyone, because dividend is paid on paid up value. The state government is greedy. Why? Money, 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 money. Only we want money. We won't give it to anybody else. So we can't declare dividend. So idea. Do we have the power to make local laws? Okay, so if you want to do business in my state, take this registration. This business has to take this license. Without license, not allowed. And with this, we will move the profit from year to year, not by calling it dividend, but by changing the name. The word dividend has been given a secret color. We have put a mask on the word dividend, and we have secretly paid. Bro, what all you have to do for your, for feeding your family? We have secretly distributed dividend. Do you understand? We have secretly distributed dividend. This is an appropriation of profit. This was a secret way of paying dividend. Fully disallowed. Dividend is not an expense. You should understand what is dividend. Appropriation, distribution of profit. Drawings. Like proprietor will have drawings, company will have dividend. So basically, they are secretly paying dividend, and thus, ladies and gentlemen, this amount is going to be fully disallowed. Is that understood? Section 40 small a, part 1 to 3. Everyone? Fantastic. Next, section 40B. Multiple types of disallowances because they are all unrelated to each other. So you can say certain disallowances. As such, there is no idea. Okay. Section 40B. There is a partnership firm or LLP which makes certain payments to its partners. Let me see if you are aware of. Every firm will pay interest to its partners. Obviously, interest will be on the capital account, current account, loan account maybe. And interest can be paid to working partner or sleeping partner. Correct or no? Every firm will pay things like salary, bonus, commission, etc. to their working partners because only working partners deserve that. That amount is known as remuneration. The word remuneration means money paid for working. See, interest is not you working. Interest is your money working. But here we are paying you for working. Do you understand the difference here? Money is not working. You are working. Do you understand that? So that is remuneration. And of course, end of the year, there is going to be some share of profit that will be paid. 3 payments, yes or no? One thing we all understand that this share of profit is going to be taxable for the firm, and because firm has paid tax for the partner, it is going to be. But now comes these two things. These two things the firm will show as an expense. You may not have understood this when we did exempt income ka chapter because you had no idea about allowed deductions, disallowed deductions. But now you will understand that when we make the profit and loss account of the firm, there will be interest, there will be remuneration, and here there will be profit. That means the interest and remuneration that we are paying to our partner is basically shown as an expense. We have reduced it from our profit. That means we have taken deduction. And we are paying tax on that much less amount. That means in one line, if you understand this line, on this amount firm has paid tax. So only this amount for the partner will be exempt. But on these amounts, firm has not paid tax. Firm has taken deduction. So these amounts will be taxable for the partner. Do you understand? You do. That means, can I safely conclude that as far as the interest and remuneration are concerned, for the firm it will be deduction, and for the partner it is going to be taxable. And let me make it clear that also taxable under section 28. Sir, firm has paid salary to partner. Salary. So it will be taxable in which head of income? PGBP. Sir, why? Because there is no employer-employee relationship. Correct? Hai? Correct? Hai? So till now, whatever we have discussed, everyone understands. Interest and remuneration, firm will take deduction, partner will pay tax in PGBP. But share of profit, firm will pay tax, for the partner it is going to be exempt. Now here comes the catch. While I have not taught you slab rates in detail as per old and new regime, but you all still have little idea. You all know that we have a concept of slab. First lower rate 0, then 5, then 20, then after 10 lakh we go to 30. As against this, assessees like firms and companies, they don't have slab rate benefit in income tax. That day when I did little introduction of tax rates, I did make you write that companies, firms have something called flat rate of tax, where they will have to pay 30% on every rupee that they earn. Understand what will happen here. Supposingly the firm has a profit of 5 lakh rupees here. Is this the profit figure? So who will pay tax? Rate of tax for the firm it will be 30, flat 30, correct? And for the partner it will be exempt, correct or no? That means effective tax payable on this 5 lakh will be 30%, 1,50,000. Idea. Pay interest and remuneration to your partners. You have partner A, partner B. Pay them interest, remuneration 2.5, 2.5. So 5 lakh gone. That means can I say the firm will save 30%? Correct. But of course, that 5 lakh was exempt for the partners. This 2.5, 2.5 will be taxable. So effectively, if firm is not paying, then partner will pay tax. So the taxable amount won't change. Whether we distribute it as profit or we distribute it as interest remuneration, 5 lakh will be taxable. Either for the firm or for the partner. Then why are we doing this? Take a guess and you will be right. If we distribute it as interest and remuneration, it will become taxable for partner first at 0%. What if the partner does not have any other income? Then 0. Supposingly he has little income, still 5. After 5 lakh, 20. Only when the individual incomes of partners have crossed 10 lakh rupees, then here also 30, there also 30, does not make any difference. But if the individual incomes of the partners are under 10 lakh, then it is better. See, if you understand the line, you will understand the concept. If the partner is falling in a lower bracket because of slabs and firm is in higher bracket because of 30%, then all firms will purposely pay more amounts as interest and remuneration and remove money from profit. Firm will save at 30, partner will pay, but at slabs. You understood? And therefore we have section 40B because firms were purposely paying more and more amount in the form of interest and remuneration. To stop that manipulation, we are now going to have section 40B. Section 40B is going to introduce stay within your limits. Section 40B. I have done this before. Who was the person at that time? Yeah, but he didn't get scared that day. You did. Tell Jutta. You did, no? Of course, someone who during student life has gone to someone's house and said, "Uncle, can I call you Papa?" won't be scared for these things. Arey, reaction to de, bro. Limits. On what? Limits on the deduction of interest and remuneration that you are paying to your partners. Limits on the deduction of interest and remuneration that you have to pay to your partners. So true or false? Is section 40B bringing limits? Yes. True or false? A firm cannot pay more than these amounts to its partners. False. Firm can pay everything, bro. The limit is on the... So what we have to do in section 40B, learn what are the limits. Please pay attention. If the firm has paid the remuneration and interest within the limit, then it will get deduction. Anything paid more than the limit will be disallowed. You understood? Supposingly the firm has paid 5 lakh. Limits I will teach you. Example I am saying. Supposingly the firm has paid 5 lakh. First we will apply the limits. When we applied the limits, as per the limits of the deduction here, our answer came 4 lakh. How much is actually paid? 5 lakh. Limit ka answer is, of course we will learn the limits, but example. The answer is coming to. If you don't know how to calculate that 4 lakh, if you don't know what I will teach you in the limits now, that means you don't know the law. And if you don't know the law, that means unfit to cash on delivery. If you know, you won't get marks. Understand what you will have to do. No need to check the accounts because in the example given till now, the accounts are declared before you. The amount debited will be 5 lakh. Why? Because actual payment is, think about it, 5 lakh, but as per limit the answer is 4 lakh. So 4 lakh is allowed and debited, so no effect. And 1 lakh is disallowed because it is beyond the limit. So what to do with that 1 lakh? Add, because debited and disallowed is when you will get your marks. So of course you need to learn how to calculate the 4 lakh. I'll teach you the limits. We'll do the limits. But once you do it, you know that the excess you have to disallow. After you disallow the excess, in our example it came to 1 lakh, is where finally you will get your marks. So can I say the deduction will be within 40B limits? Now my next question to you is, do you want more marks? You can say no if you want. No sir, we are happy and satisfied in life. Do you want more marks? So let us compute the pgbp of the partners also. Is this amount going to be pgbp of the partner? Come on. Is this going to be pgbp of the partner? Yes, but we can't tax him on the entire 5 lakh. Think about it. Partner has received how much? 5 lakh, because firm has paid 5 lakh. But is the firm getting deduction of full 5 lakh? No. Firm has taken tax benefit only of 4 lakh. Then we can make the partner also pay tax only on 4 lakh. 1 lakh ke 4 lakh. Think about it, because brightest students go wrong here. Don't get confused. Don't get confused. How much is the amount paid by the firm? 5 lakh. From that, how much deduction firm has taken? You yourself said add back 1 lakh. That means is 1 lakh included in the income of the firm, because you only have added it. That means has the firm paid tax on 1 lakh? So partner will not pay tax on 1 lakh. Partner will pay tax on the amount on which firm has not paid tax. You have to decide firm has taken tax benefit of how much. 4 lakh is the amount on which partner has to pay tax. Firm has paid tax on how much? So partner won't pay tax on that 1 lakh. So finally, do not repeat the mistake now. You understood? The amount which is deduction of the firm is the amount on which partner has to pay tax. So partner has received 5 lakh ke received 5 lakh, but partner will pay tax on 4 lakh. You understand? So can I say taxable under section 28? How much? To the extent it was allowed as deduction to the firm. The amount taxable for the partner will be the amount which the firm has taken deduction or disallowed? Taken deduction, because tax benefit of firm is taxable income of the partner. And disallowance of the firm is basically not taxable for the partner. Are you understood ke nahi, bro? Sure, eh? Fantastic. Fantastic. You have not got your marks. Start to end full we will discuss. Firm has paid how much? 5. First you have to learn the limits, huh? Because without knowing limits you won't get your answer 4 lakh. Let us assume you've learned the limits, your answer is 4 lakh. So what is allowed deduction of the firm? But the firm has paid. So in the computation of the firm, add less no effect with amount please. Add 1 lakh, disallow the excess. Till this we had completed. Now let's go to the computation of partner. For partner it is income. Received income is how much? 5 lakh. But taxable income is only 4 lakh, because the deduction of firm is taxable for the partner. Correct? Eh? Add less no effect with amount. Be confident and then answer. And you understood the question, no? In partners computation, what will you do? Less 1. How? Sir, 4 lakh. Income. Taxable and credited. No effect. And 1 lakh. Income. Credited, because if you have received, you have to show it. But not taxable. Credited but not taxable. Less. You slap yourself right now. No, enough. This is not funny for me anymore. Are you hitting yourself right now, or I remove you from the class? आपको समझ नहीं आता है that for income you cannot use the word allowed, disallowed. It is an unpardonable mistake. First day I am telling you this. Take your time before answering. No problem. You cannot associate words called allowed, disallowed. Are you slapping yourself? I don't want to raise my hand on a female. Are you slapping yourself? Hit yourself, right? बताओ कैसे होता है? You want to see how it works? You want me to do it? No? Do it the way I would have done. Do it now! Do it. Do it. Now you won't make the mistake. You cannot associate the words allowed, disallowed with. You spoil the entire flow. You cannot associate the words allowed, disallowed with incomes. For incomes, what will you use? Taxable or not taxable. Start from the beginning. Full flow you have spoiled. How much was paid by the firm to the partner? 5 lakh. First step is go and learn the limits. We are assuming that we know the limits and our answer is 4 lakh. By the way, that's the main thing which we are yet to learn. If you don't know that, you are not fit only for the exam. Which does not mean that you know the limits, but you say allowed, disallowed for income. Then you are not fit for anything. You can't do that. First day I told you, I will not pardon this mistake. This is unacceptable. Because wrong terminology, this is the reason why people do not clear in, CA exams, make mistakes, because they never focus on improving their basics. So, assume that you have learned the limits. What is the allowed deduction? Example, 4 lakh. Firm has paid how much? In computation of the form, add less, no effect with amount. Add 1 lakh. You get your marks. But do you want more marks? Let's finish the computation of the partner also. Partner has received a total of 5 lakh. However, partner will pay tax on? Sir, why partner will pay tax on 4 lakh? See, last time when you said partner will pay tax on 1 lakh, I accepted that mistake because that is a pardonable mistake. You understand that firm has taken deduction of 4 lakh. That means 1 lakh is taxed. So, partner will pay tax on that amount which is not taxed. So, the deduction taken by the firm will be taxable income of the partner. So, that mistake was acceptable. I didn't even react to it. You understand or no? Partner has received 5 lakh. And in P&L account will receive, no bank account debit to P&L. So, credited also 5 lakh. But has to pay tax on 4 lakh. Correct? Why 4 lakh? Because firm has taken deduction only of 4 lakh. One to firm has only paid tax. 4 lakh. Now, let's talk to them individually. Let's talk to 4 lakh. 3 questions. Problem solved. Income. Credited. Take your time. It's okay. Speed will come with practice. Accuracy is primary. Income. Credited. Credited and taxable. 4 lakh. 4 lakh. No effect. Let's talk about 1 lakh. Income. Credited. Not taxable. Sir, why 1 lakh is not taxable? Because on 1 lakh, company, firm has already paid tax. So, less. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how you will get marks? In the computation of the firm, add 1 lakh. And in the computation of the partner, less 1 lakh is your end-to-end achievement of marks. Did you understand now? Everyone? Clear hai? 100%? Of course, this whole process you have understood, but you cannot execute the process if you don't know. Bro, finally you have to go and learn the limits now. What are the limits? First, limit on interest. Interest can be paid to working or sleeping partner. Please understand. Can we pay interest to a non-working, dormant, inactive, sleeping partner also? Why? Because interest is not paid for working. Interest is paid for funds. And can a sleeping, non-working partner be providing funds? We are not paying him for his work. We are paying him for funds. So, we will give you deduction of interest whether it is paid to working partner or non-working partner, sleeping partner. The deduction is going to be least of the following. First, you want to guess? For the firm, it will be paid, not received. But I know you meant it that way. Actual amount paid. Correct? Where will you come to know this from? In real life, if you are auditing this firm, so can I say you may probably see the bank statement or something, from that you will come to know how much is the interest paid to the partners. And in exam, they will give you phone number of the firm and the address. No? Bro, do you know that in pgbp they give a P&L account? And this interest will be debited. No? Because this is what we have paid. So we will debit or no? Hello? So the actual interest is always going to be given to you in the question. Correct? Second, the amount as per partnership deed. Partnership firms pay interest to their partners or remuneration to their partners on the basis of what is provided in the deed. Yes or no? So only what is provided in the deed will be paid to the partner. So second part, we will keep that amount as per deed also in the limits. In real life, if you are doing the audit, where will you come to know this amount? Come on, given. Real life में given. So deed में you go and read, no. An exam में, they like log tables, they will give you partnership deed का copy. No. Exam में this will be given, and also understand, by chance it is not given, it is going to be same as. Think about it. Think about it. Why will any firm pay more than deed? And why will any partner accept less than deed? If not given, the actual will always be as per deed only. But it is primarily this third limit that you will have to understand. This is your target. This is when I say if you don't know this, you are not fit for the exam. The maximum that we will take is 12% per annum simple interest. Anything paid more than 12% will be disallowed. That means if the firm is paying interest to partner at 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12% per annum, that is within limit, full allowed. If the firm is paying 13%, then 1% will be disallowed. 20%, then 8% will be disallowed. A typical CA question, even in CA final, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, in CA final, we have a chapter called Assessment of Partnership Firms. Because I don't know whether I ever discussed with you, this is important for you to approach your exam, that CA inter exams, if you ever open the plastic cover of ICAI study material, you will come to know that CA inter exams ka main target is to test your knowledge on individual and HUF income and tax calculation. In CA inter, they do not ask questions on companies, firms, etc., charitable trusts, political parties. CA inter is only about individual HUF. See, when I do tax rates, my focus will be on individual HUF. I will be doing the others also, but for exam, you have to learn only individual HUF. I won't keep you blank because I am not preparing you only for appearing for this exam. Immediately after the exam, you will go for an interview. There they will ask you about companies and firms. Little idea you should be having. But target is that you have knowledge of individual and HUF taxation. But when we talk about CA final, if you only see the index of the book, we have a chapter called Assessment of Various Entities in ICAI study material. So when you study for CA final, this is like typically the index of a CA final textbook that we have right now. We have an organization called Business Trust, about which you have no idea at Inter. Investment fund, you have no idea. Partnership firm, charitable trust, political party, electoral trust. We have to go and learn tax treatment of all these organizations by dedicating individual chapters to them. So do you realize for partnerships, we actually have a separate dedicated chapter? And between these two, firm and trust, if you observe, one of them always comes in CA final paper. Of course, ICAI has not announced that May we will ask firm and November may trust. They ask randomly, sometimes firm, sometimes trust. If a question comes on firms, which is 50% probability, no, firm or trust, one of them will always come. Every question on partnership firm will have an adjustment of this, because this is a section specially created, dedicated for partnership firm. A specific, special created section applicable only to partnership firms. You understand or no? And this is how they ask the exam adjustment. They will say ABC, a partnership firm, has paid interest of rupees 2 lakh to its partners. That means, can I say they have given us the actual amount? And if nothing is given, then as per deed also we will consider it as 2 lakh only. Interest as per actual 2 lakh. This interest was paid at 20% per annum. You understood? So now you know that the actual 2 lakh is paid at 20%. So how are you going to proceed? Simple, eh? Simple. You call it cross multiplication, you call it unitary method, or there are some who in their accounts, in their posting or FM lectures have developed the habit of singing songs. If 20% is 2 lakh, then 12% is how much? You all do that? No? 1,20,000. Simple. Eh? If they have received 20% at 2 lakh, it is 20%, then 12 is how much? 1,20,000. What is the lowest of them? So what will be your allowed deduction? Now you understand the full process. Till now that 5 lakh, 4 lakh example was an example without knowing the limits. Now we know the limits. Now see if you are able to solve a question on partnership and get marks. How much is the interest actually paid? We applied the limits of 40B. What answer we got? Hey, we applied the limits of 40B. Please answer the question. What answer we got? Arey, answer karo. As per 40B limit, what is the allowed deduction? 1,20,000. Now, do you understand? If you don't know how to calculate 1,20,000, you are not fit for the exam. Now you know the limit. You get your answer 1,20,000. Think about it. Any student who has got 1,20,000, has the student studied the limits? Does the student know the law? That means we should respect that student. But do you realize still you will not get marks? Because your job after this is do what? सुनो, ऐसे कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. It's a professional exam. So you have to, this is your chance for redemption. Bolo, what will you do? Go check the accounts. Accounts kya check? Accounts you have already checked. You know what is the amount debited. What is the amount debited? So in the computation of the form, add less no effect with amount please. Add 80. Why 80 sir? Because paid is 2 lakh but allowed is only 120. So excess will be disallowed. Correct? Eh? You want more marks? Do you want more marks? What? Go check the computation of the partner. The interest received is 2 lakh. 1 minute. How much will the partner pay tax on? 9. 9. So therefore I am saying pay attention. This is a very, very important provision. Come back to the class and come back to the chapter. How much is received? 2 lakh. Firm has taken deduction of how much? That means you have not understood the main concept only. You just tell me one thing, from the 2 lakh, how much has firm paid tax on? Will you come back to the class please? Look at me and answer my question. How much is the actual interest paid? How much is the amount as per deed? At what rate we have paid that interest? Huh? At what rate? मतलब आप mistake करो तो I don't have the right to say anything. So if I say anything, उसके बाद you are not paying attention only to anything. What percentage we have paid? 20%. If 20% is 2 lakh, then 12% will be how much? 1,20,000. Now what is the allowed deduction? You will only answer. What is the allowed deduction? So firm has taken deduction of 1,20,000. That means in the firm ka computation, what are we going to do? Disallow 80,000. That means add back. That means the firm has paid tax on. आप जब इनकम में ऐड करते हो ना तो यू आर पेइंग टैक्स. आउट ऑफ 2 lakh how much the firm has taken deduction. Deduction means you have not paid tax, and add back matlab you have paid tax. At this stage of the chapter, at least do you understand that much? The firm has taken deduction of. Firm has taken deduction of. You don't want to answer, I will stop putting efforts. Firm has taken deduction of. देखो ना उधर प्लीज. What is the actual interest? रुपीज में कितना है? How much have we paid? Please, can you come back physically and mentally to the classroom? How much is the actual interest paid? 2 lakh. How much is the amount as per partnership deed? 2 lakh. Are you trying to show me that you do any mistake, I should not be saying anything? I'll stop saying. Thousands have come and gone. Does not make a difference to me if you make a mistake and don't get marks. Because there is someone else in the classroom who will get the marks. So behave. I am asking you questions and you have to answer the question. How much is the actual interest paid? How much is the amount as per deed? Others can join also. How much is the amount as per deed? Yes. And this 2 lakh was paid at what percentage? But as per 40B, the maximum allowable deduction will be of. So when we apply 12, how we apply 12? Because we don't know on what amount it has been paid. So we do simple. 20% of that amount is 2 lakh. Then 12% of that amount will be. That's a simple cross multiplication. And it was such a simple amount that it can be done without calculators also. I gave only an example like that. What is the amount allowed? Finally allowed deduction. Yahan pe please pay attention. 1,20,000 you got at 12%. Allowed deduction is going to be whichever is highest or lowest. Obviously whichever is. तो आपका allowed deduction का answer, this you will speak. How much is the allowed deduction? Huh? How much is the allowed deduction? इसमें 80 किधर दिख रहा है? तो किसमें से lower? इसलिए I told you that एक बार I told you something because of your mistake, you are mentally in some other zone. Tell me to stop telling you, I'll stop telling you. So focus, no. Why can't you come back to the class? Mistake was yours only, no? Was it the first time you did that? Allowed, disallowed income? A, B or C, whichever is lowest is going to be your deduction. So what zone are you in? What is the allowed deduction? You want to answer? This is my last effort. What is the allowed deduction? 12% पे rupees में deduction होता है. What is the allowed deduction? Everyone is. Have you paid more than that amount? How much? So what will you do to that excess paid? Add. Disallow, therefore add. That completes the computation of the firm. In this, now draw the conclusion because you are making a mistake over there. That in this, once we have concluded, do you understand that the amount which the firm has taken deduction, that means firm has not paid tax. And the amount that we have disallowed, that means the firm has paid tax. And what are those amounts? Deduction taken off. And disallowed, that means we have paid tax of. Now you can't make the mistake. Now you can't make the mistake. That is unacceptable. On what amount partner will pay tax? 120 ke 80. 120. Why 120? Because the amount deducted for the firm is the amount taxable to the partner. But partner has received how much? 2 lakh. So partner in P&L account must have credited how much? 2 lakh. But partner has to pay tax only on 120. So partner का computation में what are we going to do? Less. Why 80? Firm ने क्या भरा है? Tax on 80,000 and therefore partner will pay tax only on 1,20,000. But the partner has already credited in P&L account, come on, 2 lakh rupees, but has to pay tax only on. So when you have already added 2 lakh, but you have to retain only 120. So what you will have to do? Minus that 80,000. So whatever we have added in the income of the firm, we have to minus in the income of the partner. That is the end-to-end effect. See the difference between what we are doing as an approach and what everyone else does. Actual did 12%, whichever is low. And likewise, remuneration ka bhi there are 3 limits. Whichever is lowest is allowed. But allowed, I understood. After that, what do I have to do? There is some amount on which firm has to pay tax. There is some amount on which partner has to pay tax. They are separate assessees. So how to give the end-to-end effect? That also you will have to understand. If you don't understand, things are not going to work. Have you understood? So effectively in the firm ka accounts or in the firm ka computation, not the account, in the firm ka computation, we will be adding 80,000 and in the partners computation, we will be subtracting, minusing, less 80,000. Ye clear hai? Hello? And which is the second? In all this chaos, do you even remember that there is limit for one more thing? Thank you. Remuneration is for working. So first of all, you should understand that remuneration will be considered only and only the amount paid to working partner. As a clarification, let me specify any remuneration that is paid to a sleeping partner is going to be fully disallowed. Any remuneration paid to a sleeping partner is going to be fully disallowed. See, sleeping partner is not actively participating in the work, day-to-day work. Then why are you paying remuneration? There is only one intention behind it. I show you the intention. See this. He's not working. Still pay. If we pay, so what will happen? We will be able to reduce our profit. Save 30 and partner will pay tax at slabs. You understood? This is called diversion of profits from a high tax assessee to a low tax assessee. And this is why little knowledge of slabs required. See, when I taught you, I actually haven't taught you tax rates. I just said little introduction I am doing so that you understand things like this. Why your family members divert profits? Why in family business they give commission or salary to those family members who don't come also? Because they want to exploit the slab advantages. You understood? ICAI, can't believe this, has actually written a representation to the government of India for the upcoming budget that for married couples consider joint income tax return. So merge their slabs. Lol. If the husband and wife both have massive income, they will never be interested in them. And if supposedly only one of them is earning, other is not earning at all, then again, the merger is very dangerous for the government because one person will take two people ka slabs. So logically speaking, whoever gave this representation is foolish, does not have any brain. And most of the occasions we see that ICAI ka representation made is of late, this government does not consider. There was a time when if ICAI gives a pre-budget representation, most of the provisions were actually incorporated. But gone are those days. This government is known to be anti-chartered accountants since the day it has come. Initially, it was not like that, but after, because of CAs, the whole plan of demonetization failed. CAs only who gave the clients ideas that, okay, deposit like this or like that or convert like this, or they had bank settings, no? Because CAs make their clients open more and more bank accounts, they take investments. So they have contacts in the banks. So from the back door, they exchange notes, etc. CAs ensured that demonetization fails, and it failed very badly. And the earlier excise custom ka regime also, government planned to bring GST, but CS tried to find out new and innovative ideas, take fake GST ka input tax credit, and then there are a lot of CAs who incorporate companies for their clients, make sales of crores of rupees, collect GST of crores of rupees, but there is a time to make payment, no? They disappear after that. Only when the government does not receive the money, when the buyer goes for input tax credit, government knows that we have not received money. By that time, the people have disappeared. And there is one CA involved in all these cases. One big thing you do, 200, 500 crore, you can keep aside. And then, of course, you have to settle people at the top also. So that way, for this reason, because CAs make sure most of the plans fail, this government has always been anti-chartered accountants. So when you become CA, and then you vote also, because right now you are minor, so right now you may not be voting, but when you become a CA and start voting, at that time you see what to do, है ना? All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we go and learn the remuneration ka deduction. Once again, the deduction is going to be A, B, C, whichever is lowest is the deduction. So A, B, C, whichever is lowest, take deduction. And anything that you have paid more than that, that amount will be disallowed. Disallowed matlab added back matlab firm will pay tax, and on that much amount partner will not pay tax. Correct hai? First, the actual amount. Now come on. It has to be given to you. Second, the amount as per deed. Amount as per partnership deed. This will also, ladies and gentlemen, obviously be given to you. And in the bracket, same thing. If not given, it will be same as actual. ये correct है? If not given, it will be same as actual. For the third amount, in the limits of remuneration deduction, if you observe and you are clear in your mind what you are doing, don't be confused. We are doing deduction of remuneration. So first two will be given. In fact, if you observe carefully, in interest there are 3, 2 given. Third is very simple, cross multiplication. In remuneration there are 3, out of that also 2 given. So out of total 6, 5 are very easy. But this last one is slightly complicated, because this says you leave the calculation right now and go and do another calculation at the side. Find out whether this firm has got book loss or book profit. Obviously, book loss or book profit is not the amount of profit or loss as per books. Otherwise, they would have said net profit, net loss. We are not going to check net profit, net loss. We have to actually go and do another computation at the side, that is computation of book profit, book loss. We will be doing, please pay attention, a long and detailed computation here. After that, we will get our final answer. If this final answer is positive, it's a book profit, and if the final answer is negative, it's a book loss. Do you understand? Book profit, book loss, how we are going to do it? Hello? Then you come and compute. So the third limit is actually going to depend on what is the answer of this. You have to leave your remuneration calculation in between and actually first do a separate calculation called book profit, book loss. Supposingly the final answer is negative, so it becomes a case of book loss. In that case, your third limit is going to be flat rupees 3 lakh. See, understand, I'll explain. Actually here they have given percentages like slabs. This much profit, this percentage, this much profit, this percentage. But if it is a loss, we can't apply percentage or negative. No, answer will still become negative. So in cases of loss, they have given a flat amount of 3 lakh. But in case of profit, on the first 6 lakh ka profit, we will apply 90%. Matlab from this amount will come to no. First 6 lakh we will apply 90%. And in case there is any balance, so we will apply 60%. First 6 lakh, 90%. Balance we will apply 60%. First of all, let me tell you, this is an amendment with effect from assessment year 25-26. Changed in this budget only. All the amounts written here have changed. If you are anxious to know, sir, what were the existing limits, by the way, that is none of your business. Because you have to learn what's the new law, not what is abolished. Still, for your anxious souls, this was 1,50,000. This was, listen, first 3,90,000 and balance 60. So they have made this also double and this also double. Matlab basically they have increased the deduction limits. That choice, anything favorable to the taxpayer, we are always okay with. Correct? Hai? So in case of book loss, what your answer is going to be? 3 lakh. But in case of profits, we will apply slabs. First 6 lakh, 90. Balance 40. So if your book profit is 1 crore, 6 lakh into 90%, 94 lakh into 60%. 50 lakhs to, come on, 6 lakh into 90, 44 lakh into 60, 10 lakh, then 6 lakh into 90, 4 lakh into 60, 5 lakh, then 90%. But if it is negative 5 lakh, then think about it. Then we can't apply percentage. Then we take it here. You understood or no? So in case of book loss, first of all, we are doing remuneration deduction. Actual, as per deed. For the third amount, we have to leave and do a separate calculation. What is that separate calculation? Book profit or book loss. So here we get the final answer. If it's a loss, then our answer will be fixed. What, sir? 3 lakh. But if it's a profit, then first 6 lakh 90, balance 60. But one last thing here. This also will be minimum rupees 3 lakh. So this was also 1 lakh 50. This also they have doubled. So if you want to know what are the three amendments, this was 150, this was 3 lakh, and this was 150. Sir, there is logic. Everyone has to be with me. Please understand. If your book profit is negative 1 crore, that means book loss, what's your answer? 3 lakh. Negative 1 lakh, 3 lakh. Negative 1,000, 3 lakh. Negative 1 rupee, 3 lakh. 2 rupees increase and it becomes positive 1 rupee. So what's your answer? 90 paisa. Please understand. Anybody who is declaring loss, them also we are giving minimum deduction of 3 lakh. So anybody declaring profit of 1 rupee, we can't give 90 paisa. Minimum we have to give. So whatever answer you get here, it can't be less than 3 lakh. You understand? So continue, please continue. Positive 1 rupee, 3 lakh. You don't want to use calculator. Okay. Positive 1,000, positive 1 lakh, still 3 lakh. Positive 1 lakh 50,000 rupees, positive 3 lakh rupees, still 3 lakh, because minimum 3 lakh. Acha. Positive 3 lakh 33,333 rupees. करके देखना. हाँ तो apply no. So is your, what's your answer? अभी कितना confidence है? You were saying 3 lakh, 3 lakh, 3 lakh. तो give the answer no. Apply 90 क्या? 3 lakh 33,333. क्या? What percentage you have applied? 90%. You applied 90%. What answer you got? 3 lakh ही है bro. This is the indifference point. Please understand. If my book profit is more than this, then 90% will be giving me the answer. If my book profit is less than this, then 3 lakh will be my answer up to infinity in negative side. You understood? Positive side, the answer is 90% and 60%. But that answer can't be less than 3 lakh because negative side also we are allowing 3 lakh. So 333 is that level where 90% gives me the exact answer of 90% also gives me the same answer. And do you understand, after this 90% only will be my answer? By the way, one more thing, do you understand? Anybody who has gone to the second bracket of 60%, then your minimum criteria of 3 lakh is already satisfied, because first bracket will give you 6 lakh to 90, which is 540, fulfilling the minimum criteria. You understand? So in case of book loss, 3 lakh. In case of book profit, first 6 lakh 90, balance 60. This amount cannot be less than, because this is minimum of 3 lakh which we are allowing on the loss side also. However, as everyone has understood, that we won't know what we have to do unless and until we won't know what we have to do unless and until we have calculated book profit or book loss. Do you understand this? So we will have to go and calculate book profit or book loss. The final answer of this calculation will make me decide book profit or book loss. Accordingly, I will calculate my remuneration. Correct hai? So let us go and learn. Book profit, book loss is basically a PGBP calculation. How does PGBP calculation take place? Start with net profit as per profit and loss account. Correct? But of course, there are some errors here. So we make one add side. What was our add side? Expenses which are debited but disallowed. We will have to add them. One more add. Incomes which are incomes which are not credited but allowed. Incomplete. Under section. Do we add these things? Then we will also have a less side. Again, one income adjustment, one expense. Income credited but not taxable under section 28, and expenses which are, come on, not debited but allowed. You've seen this format somewhere. What is this? This, ladies and gentlemen, is PGBP as you have studied. Wait, this is PGBP before 40B adjustments. Think about it. So basically, what is this book profit calculation? This first expects you to complete every adjustment of PGBP chapter. Add less, no effect, add less, no effect. Everything that comes in PGBP chapter, do that. Then come to section 40B adjustment. Section 40B will be having adjustment of two types of payments. What are those two types of payments? Interest and remuneration. Both of them, beyond the limit, we have to disallow. So we will first do what? Add the interest and remuneration to partners as per books of accounts. We are fully disallowing it. For example, in our interest case, how much was the actual interest? 2 lakh. We are fully disallowing it. Add 2 lakh. By the way, when we discussed it orally, what did we do? Add 80,000. Because 80 is excess. Disallow that. But what am I here making you do? Full we are adding interest and remuneration, to which a good student should counter by saying, sir, full 2 lakh is not disallowed. Only 80,000 is disallowed. But listen, please wait and understand. If I, after adding 2 lakh, if I am allowing you to subtract 1,20,000, which we have put effort to calculate. Please understand, our effort in the question is 2 lakh or 120, whichever is lower. That means if we want to show our work to the paper checker, we have to show 120 in the answer paper. So follow our normal policy, no? Add as per books. And less if I do as per tax. So do you realize add 2 lakh less 1.2 will effectively add 80,000, which you were going to do. So you can either add the net amount of 80,000, that is an option, or alternatively, if you add the full amount, then subtract the allowed deduction separately, which is also okay, and which is basically fitting in our normal day-to-day song of add as per books less as per tax. Alternatively, you could have added only 80,000. Net effect is going to be add 80, this way or that way. So right now, what am I doing? I am making you add full amount as per books. In our example, what was that interest? 2 lakh. And if later I subtract 120, then your problem is solved, no? So after adding these amounts, look what I call, just focus on particular, this particular column is very, very self-explanatory. I am calling this PGBP. Sir, why I call it PGBP? Because I have done all adjustments of PGBP. But this is PGBP before 40B. Listen carefully. Now this time I will call it before 40B deduction. See, last time what did I call it? Adjustment. Because I have to do add interest and remuneration as per books and less interest and remuneration as per tax. Add as per books done. So what is the only thing now remaining? Less interest as per tax, less remuneration as per tax. If I give these two deductions, Do you understand? Everything else of PGBP is over because all other adjustments of PGBP I have already completed. I am 2 steps away from completion of my PGBP. Give deduction of interest and give deduction of remuneration. That means, can I say I am only 2 deductions away and both of them ka calculation is given in 40B. So look at my particulars before the 40B deductions. When the adding part was still left, I call it before adjustments. But if the adding part is over, only minusing part is left, then what will I call it? Before 40B. Ye correct hai? Now tell me, what are the 2 steps? We are away from completing our PGBP. Less interest allowed and less remuneration. 120 was our example. Correct hai? Do you understand? For interest, we don't require any book profit, book loss, etc. Interest was simple. If we have added 2 lakh, so we have to subtract 120, the amount within the limits. If we have added as per books, we have to subtract the amount as per tax. So can I simply go and subtract the interest which is allowed under section 40B? By the way, we already have that amount in our example to 120. We add 2 lakh less 120. Correct hai? Means, have I completed the interest adjustment? I am only 1 step away from finishing my PGBP. Just 1 step. Do you realize from this amount, if I subtract the remuneration deduction under 40B, the amount that I will effectively get is going to be called my PGBP. Because I have completed all adjustments of PGBP. Think about it. I have completed the add as per books of interest and remuneration. I have also completed the less as per tax of interest. I am only away from 1 step. I am only away by 1 step. That is the less as per tax of remuneration. So can I name this amount? Think about it. PGBP. Think about it. Just observe. PGBP before remuneration deduction under section. Because have I completed everything in PGBP? Think about it. For interest, I have done add less both. For remuneration, I have done add. I am only left with less. I am 1 step away. 1 step away from completing my PGBP. What is that 1 step that I am away? The remuneration deduction. This, ladies and gentlemen, can also be given a fancy name called book profit if positive and loss if negative. The second last amount, the penultimate you understand? Second last, you understand? The one amount before the last amount. The only adjustment left is this. Before PGBP, 1 step before PGBP, the amount that I get is going to be called your book profit or book loss. This, ladies and gentlemen, is your book profit or book loss. That means you have to finish all PGBP adjustments. Listen, all PGBP adjustments. Second, you have to finish interest add and less both. You can disallow the net effect, that is also fine. Net effect means add less both done. And you have to add remuneration as per books. So only thing left is remuneration as per tax. You look at the words PGBP before remuneration deduction is book profit. If positive, profit. And if negative, loss. If this answer is negative, 1 rupee, 1 crore rupee, 100 crore rupee, it's a book loss. What is going to be your allowable remuneration deduction? You understood the question? Understand the question. If the amount is negative, it's a book loss. What will be your allowable remuneration deduction? 3 lakh. Popat! You have made that mistake which rank holder category students make. Does not mean, sir, that means we are rank holder category. No. This mistake they also make. This is something that you have not paid attention to. You were saying something. If your answer is 3 lakh, you are wrong. Because my question was what? Listen to the question again. I know you are thinking, sir, 3 lakh is the answer. My question was, if it is book loss, what is deduction? Answer is not 3 lakh. It is actual deed or 3 lakh. Listen, I modify my question. Listen, if my question was, in case of book loss, what is the third limit? Then 3 lakh is correct answer. My question was allowed deduction. Deduction won't be 3 lakh. Listen please. This is 3 lakh because I gave you question of loss. But what if we have paid only 1 lakh? Then deduction can't be 3 lakh. It will be 1 lakh. But brightest student, CA final rank holder category student make mistakes here. You know what happens? Every student is aware that this calculation I have to leave incomplete only. I won't be able to complete unless and until I first have my amount of book profit. And book profit is virtually solving full pgbp only. So they don't do this only first. They come to this. If they do this, matlab they are literally solving full pgbp. All add, all less. Interest add less. Remuneration add. Only one thing left. That is remuneration less. Which means simply they have done so many steps to reach all the way here. And because of so much effort, when they reach here, they are so overexcited. Hey, book loss, book loss, book loss, book loss. 3 lakh. They minus here only. They minus 3 lakh here only, not realizing the fact that this is book loss now. The third limit is answer is not 3 lakh. Then you come and do this. Check it. Actual was 4 lakh. No problem. You are right by fluke. But it cannot be more than actual. You understood? Don't be overexcited. Don't be overexcited. It may be a trap. Don't be overexcited. It may be a trap. You all have received emails that you have won 1 billion pounds. You all have received those emails. You have won 1 billion pounds. Oh. Once upon a time, a similar lottery was won by a gentleman called Atmaram Tukaram Bide. Shah's Charitable Trust? I don't remember that name of the guy. But they caught him in a hotel and Jethalal Champaklal Gada Electronics. That guy was from Mira Road. And then he asked, hey, ye kaun se desh mein? It's a scam. Don't fall for such cheap tricks. Lots and lots of people in the market waiting there to pay cheap tricks with you. You don't fall for them. You understood the deduction of interest, actual, deed, or 12% per annum, whichever is lower. The deduction of remuneration first will require you to calculate book profit, which is literally the pgbp chapter. Everything except the subtraction part. But don't give the direct answer over there. Even in book profit, supposingly this was profit, 10 lakh rupees. So 6 lakh into 90, 4 lakh into 60. Whatever you get, don't complete it before comparing with actual and deed, because you have to choose whichever is lower. Is that clear? And if you make silly mistakes in class, which are unacceptable, so be prepared to face the music of that. What you don't understand is the world outside this classroom is a very, 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 very cruel place. People are just waiting. If you are at the top also, no, they somehow want to reach the top with your support only, and then they will push you down from there. Whoever is at the top has actually toppled someone before reaching there. And most likely cases, the person whom you push down is the person who took you there. It's a very, very cruel world. People are not going to leave you, spare you. You all have stayed in a protected environment under the guidance of your parents, elders, seniors, teachers, who were always protective about you. But you have to go beyond that. This phase of your life where you're getting done with your teenage and you are entering the professional life, you are going to be working as a corporate slave. Articleship is worse than slavery. If one mistake, that also silly mistake you make, and that also not the first time but you repeat, and the teacher is upset with that, it is in your interest. It's a challenge now. You won't make this mistake ever again in life also. And secondly, in a classroom, someone can probably scream at you and correct it. Outside world, people will just simply ignore you. You will lose because of that mistake. And still, if you are not comfortable with this, I may not be doing it. I won't do it. No problem. My job is to come and complete your syllabus. And irrespective of your marks, I am going to be paid, which is already too less, so it won't be deducted further. But if I increase my blood pressure, I have hereditary blood pressure. My father, grandfather used to have 200. And if one day their blood pressure is 180, then we used to say low BP. Hypertension, we call it. Heredity. When there is some intention behind it, we will have more fun than anybody else in the classroom. That you are aware by now. We are nearing 60% syllabus completion. But we cannot compromise on the quality of our work, because zero compromise policy here basically gives us the freedom of doing whatever we want. Whatever kind of comment we make, sometimes they are personal attacks, but all of you will take it on a lighter note. This gentleman always reacts with a big smile, because whatever I talk about him is not, it's not true, no? And I say confirming. Because one day you just, for a different taste, you just change your place. He reacts with a smile. Guru, look at Adnan. So you should not be making fun of anybody's physique just because he is short height. We can't call him minor. But he always reacts to it with a smile. All that is permitted, provided we don't do any nonsense in the work, no compromise on the work, then no problem. And I always say, make fun of me on my face. Most welcome. But bloody hell, go and get those marks. You get the marks, people will remember those marks, because they will come on your certificate. People won't remember the personal comments that we made on each other. You will also laugh after class and forget it, which you do. Bro, you don't laugh on these jokes while crossing the road. No? Be careful, there are vehicles coming. If one of the vehicles hits you also, no, they will reduce burden on the planet. Huh? कौन? ये? अच्छा. Very good. At the end of the day, you have to always be smiling. And believe me, open your front camera and check this. Check yourself crying, check yourself smiling. You see, you look good in doing what. I can see myself on the camera now, so. But I look handsome in both. Someone said, sir, you look bad in both. Accepted, bro. Accept. You're not understanding the point here. It is okay. It did not make any difference to me, you saying, dono mein kharab. It did not make a difference, because I know that's not true. Chalega. But zero compromise policy when it comes to quality of work. There is nothing called normal loss here. There is nothing called normal loss here. How many people have completed additional question bank ka salary ka questions? Kiya hi nahi. Start na. House property is over. So basic concept, exempt income, residential status, and house property over. You have today and tomorrow to complete salary. System is simple. I start capital gains, you start pgbp. Then you will be able to cope. You are doing all that. Fantastic. You are able to solve those questions. Those are ICAI questions. Study material, RTP, MTP. And I have mentioned also everywhere. This is RTP question, this is MTP question, what it is. Then come and say, sir, ab dono mein kharab. No problem. No problem. And don't get offended when the teacher gets angry at you for a very genuine reason, because the outside world, for without reason also, if someone does not like you in his or her office as a senior, when they have the authority over you, you will be having managers, you will be having senior articles, you will be having partners. If for some reason they develop some kind of dislike towards you, which becomes a personal problem in corporate offices, they will humiliate you without reason. And you won't be able to do also anything. and there won't be anyone then subsequently to make you again laugh or wipe your tears over there. You'll be crying in silence. Either you become strong, so strong that, bro, you do whatever to me, it is not going to affect me at all. Or you just surrender to them. Choice is yours. Do not get so sad or emotional at the slightest and stupidest of reasons, especially if it is your mistake. Accept the mistake and go ahead. Simply say, next time we will not do it. Simple. Hai? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, interest, actual, deed or 12% per annum, whichever is lower, and remuneration, actual, deed or as per book loss 3 lakh, as per book profit first 6 lakh 90, balance 60, but minimum 3 lakh there also, whichever is lower is going to be your allowed deduction for the firm. So, firm can't pay more than this. Firm can pay, the excess will be disallowed. And for the partner also, we have to pay tax under pgbp on what amount? The amount firm has taken deduction or the amount disallowed? Amount taken deduction, and the firm का disallowed amount for the partner also won't be taxable, so we minus that amount. Correct hai? Fantastic. Next, section 40BA. Similar to partnership firms, we have organizations called AOP BOI, that is Association of Person, Body of Individual. Their owners are known as members. I don't know whether you are aware, or we might have discussed while doing definition of person. Who is owner in a firm? Partner. Owner in HUF, co-partners. Owner in AOP, Association of Person. Like I must have given you examples of NSCI clubs, Lions Club, etc. The members are the owners. So just like a firm pays remuneration and interest to partners, AOP BOI will be paying remuneration and interest to its members. But here they consider it to be fully disallowed. See, in partnership firm, are we allowing within reasonable limits? But in AOP BOI, it is going to be fully disallowed. Means, can I say everything we have to add back here? No limit, nothing, just simply disallow anything paid. And obviously, if we are disallowing everything, so for the member, nothing is going to be taxable. See, what was the whole idea behind making the partner pay tax? On what amount did we make the partner pay tax? Because the firm has taken, but here the AOP has not taken any deduction, so obviously the member will not be paying tax on anything. Does that make sense? Sure. Section 40A subsection 2. If you make excessive payments to your relatives, the excess will be disallowed. This is an important word that you have to focus on. 40A subsection 2 does not come in every exam, as often as political party wala or that TDS related and direct taxes related. I can't be saying always, but on and off, once in a while, it does come. It's not completely irrelevant. Once in a while, it does come. Just understand what is the logic. Supposingly, there are two brothers. One is a chartered accountant, other is engineer. All characters are fictitious. Any resemblance to any person or family living or dead is purely coincidental. Chartered accountant, obviously 30% tax bracket, will be earning more than 10 lakh in a year. Bro, you become a CA and in the first year you don't enter 30% bracket now. That means either you have not done anything sense, you have given all exams only for passing, without knowing any concept, without having any knowledge, no practical or theoretical knowledge. Alternatively, you are probably not under the correct guidance. You are working for someone who does not know your value or worth. And believe me, the shop where a product gets sold now is a very, very important place. Nike ka original flip-flops, slippers, chappals, whatever you call them, it may be 4,000 to 5,000 rupees. Bro, in that Dadar Naigaon, there is this area near your house where there are lots and lots of roadside shops selling footwear. That one big road, from that St. Paul school ka lane. That area is called Bhoiwada. Supposingly these original chappals are hanging there in that roadside shop, you won't pay 5,000. You'll ask it for 500, maybe not that much also. Correct? 200 mein he will offer, then you'll walk away from the shop. Bola 50 mein give. As a kid, my mother taught me that if that person calls you, ma'am, please, that means he will sell it at whatever price. है ना? हाँ, तो the shop is very, very important. A roadside shop will not value an important asset. You are probably not in the correct company, which is why you are not in 30% bracket. If you are with me in your entire journey till you are clearing CA, मतलब you articleship में तो right now तो you are there, but post this your articleship on the basis of where you see yourself 5 or 10 years down the line, because articleship is very, very confusing. What decision you take can have a long-term effect also. And then thereafter, for your final studies and post clearing your CA, if you all throughout are within my guidance, my commitment to you, first year you will come in 30% bracket. My commitment is your income will exceed 10 lakh rupees in the first year. 1 lakh per month ka salary guarantee I am taking, provided you follow all the mentorship guidelines that I am giving you. So if I tell you that today itself you have to start studying for CA final, you have to follow. You can't be saying, sir, 3 years are there, so I won't start now. I will be giving you a time slot that these 4 months you have to complete this subject. Next 2 months you have to complete that subject. You have to abide by that timeline on a regular basis. Then I take the guarantee. Just imagine yourself earning 1 lakh rupees per month and compare it with your 0 rupees monthly income. And just imagine if you have every month, first week you are getting 1 lakh rupees. How you can probably change your present condition or your family's present condition. How you can add value to your household with that 1 lakh. Always keep this in mind every time you are facing a difficult situation, because this outside world is cruel. On a daily basis, they are going to give you difficult situations. And you can't be getting emotional in front of this world, because if you get emotional, they will make more fun of you. No one is going to have any sort of affection for you over there. I take the guarantee of bringing you in 30% bracket, provided all in all you are within my range. If you go beyond the range, then I won't be able to do anything. If you start taking decisions by yourself as a matured adult, you have the right to do so. But then I have got no responsibility in that case. Okay, I don't want you coming 5 years later and telling me, sir, you had said that first year I will get 12 lakh. Nobody is giving me 6 lakh also. Bro, what you do in these years, no? Whether you target knowledge or you target only exam, what kind of articleship you have done. Too big, which affects your studies, is not good. Too small, where you don't learn anything, they send you for doing photocopy, is also not good. You have to somewhere judge and keep somewhere yourself in between the two, which gives you exposure to everything. You go to a CA firm, tell them I have knowledge of direct tax, indirect tax, company law, I have knowledge of everything, not just the exam knowledge, but the practical knowledge. And there is acute shortage of manpower, acute shortage. Practicing CA firms, big CA firms ka partners call and tell us if you have any appropriate candidate. This is the problem. We have lots of candidates. We have thousands of students clearing inter and final for articleship and for job year on year basis. But how many of them are appropriate to send? Because there are people who go to a CA firm and they are asked in the interview after clearing CA, bank account is personal account, real account, they give the wrong answer. Because they cleared only to give exam. I can't send such people over there. So I tell the firm owner, I don't have anyone. I tell the student, sorry, I have no opportunity. If you make yourself capable of that, there are plenty of opportunities. If you follow what I tell you, 30% is my guarantee. First. Hey, of course, wait for new slabs to be announced. नहीं तो क्या confusion होएगा? नहीं, let me keep it in amounts, 1 lakh per month का. Otherwise, supposingly auntie announces that 30% is applicable after 25 lakh rupees. So you'll be like, sir, nahi, now you had said 30% in the first year, so I want 25 lakh in the first. Take minute. 1 lakh per month. Let me rectify it not on the slab rate basis, but on the income basis. I guarantee that also starting in 2-3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it can be double, triple also. It all depends on your efforts. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, the CA sibling will always have 30% tax rate, and the engineer sibling, civil engineer in some cases, for example, carpenter, is below the basic exemption limit. You think an engineer will be earning more than 2,50,000 per year? Bro, listen, if you give job to engineer, no, you should take money from them because they will come and spoil it. You don't have to pay them salary, you have to charge them. Anybody here who has engineer in their family? वो तो cousin brother समझो, real brother नहीं, ठीक है? Which engineering? हाँ है, hacker. We had discussed this. हाँ. Ask no, what is your, how many years you've been a software engineer and what is your monthly? He is studying. Okay, ठीक है. Nothing much, मतलब not much of a difference now and later. Okay. Listen. So here, what they are going to do is, the CA is having profits exceeding 10 lakhs. So now all the income is getting taxable at 30%. Just imagine if I have 12 lakh income, my 2 lakh is taxable at 30. How will I reduce my profit? In my CA firm, I will say I have paid 2 lakh salary to my brother. Think about it. So is that 2 lakh still remaining in my house only? My CA firm ka profit will come down by 2 lakh because I will show it as expense and save 30%. But of course, that 2 lakh will be taxable for my brother as the receiver of income because for me it is expense. But he is below basic exemption. So net we save 30. Supposingly he already has some income. Still I will save 30, he will pay 5. He has more income, I will save 30, he will pay 20. If he also has crossed 10 lakh rupees, this manipulation won't work. But not everyone in the family crosses 10 lakh individually income, no? So whoever is in a lower bracket, if there is 1% rate difference also, then we will shift our profits from the high tax family member to the low tax family member, similar to what the partnership firms were doing. This is typically also going to target those family businesses who are paying some salary or interest or commission to family members undeservingly. Whatever is the excess paid will be disallowed. Supposingly I pay salary to brother 2 lakh rupees. But the work that he has done in my office deserves only 50,000. Matlab, what you have to see is, if we had paid this amount to an unrelated outsider, how much we would have paid? 50,000. What is the market rate of this work? 50. How much I have paid to my brother? So the excess 150 will be disallowed. Why they ask it very less occasions in exam is because if you observe carefully, 2 lakh, the actual amount is given in the question and the market price of this service is also given in the question. You just have to disallow the excess. You don't have to calculate. In exam life, it is very, very easy. What is the market rate of that work? In real life, it is ridiculously difficult. See, my brother did some work in my office. I paid him 2 lakh. If someone else would have done, how much will I pay? Bro, how will I know when someone else has not done that? What do I do? Take quotations from the market before giving work to my brother? How many people will do that? Obviously, no. See, if someone would have done it, we would have had a comparison. But ultimately, my brother did not. So how will I even have a comparable amount? Where will I find out? Who will give me that amount? That if it was not my brother, what is the market price? Think about it. Think about it. An engineer. My brother, I am paying 2 lakh, ignore. That may be a manipulated amount. Another engineer, I should have paid how much? What is the market price of an engineer? There is no answer to that question. Do you understand? Supposingly, when once upon a time I used to run physical coaching classes. After a point, realizing that the amount of time, energy, and headache required is not justified by the returns that we are getting in physical. Plus, we don't get scaling because we can cater only to the limited number of students sitting in the class. So, if we want to scale up, we have to go digital. But when we used to run physical coaching classes, my job was to teach and get lost from the class despite being the owner. Whether the other teachers are coming on time or no, whether their study material is proper or no, whether students are satisfied or no, once the batch is completed, pay the teachers their payments. All that was handled by man. She is a qualified chartered accountant. That's a different thing. Educational qualification is irrelevant. Somebody who is not so qualified also could have done it. So educational qualification is not required. What you have to check is, for this work, someone else how much I would have paid. Irrespective of educational qualification, we have to see nature of work. Honestly speaking, with she doing everything, she should have actually kept the full profits and gave me only my batch completion ka fees for direct tax. And she keeps that also. But you understand what is the benchmark. If I bring an outsider to do that work, how much I will pay the outsider, that I come to know only if I bring the outsider. It is a very, very debatable point in real life. You have to say this is the market price. Officer will say some other amount. You have to fight a case or settle in between. But in exam, it is ridiculously easy. Amount paid to spouse, 5 lakh. The market price of the contribution of the spouse is only 4 lakh. That means what will we do? Disallow the excess amount of 1 lakh. Disallow the excess amount of 1 lakh. You understood? So whatever is paid will be given. Whatever is the excess will be given. Abhi dena. Whatever is the excess means whatever is the market price will be given. You have to find out the excess and disallow the excess. Is that clear? Section 40A, subsection 2. Next. Section 40A, subsection 3. We've seen this before. If you have made payment to same person, same day, same person, same day, same person, same day, and the payment is more than rupees 10,000, so you have to make this payment in the 3 allowed modes. What are those 3 allowed modes? In Marathi we say तोच आपला नेहमीचा. No, I'll translate in English. Those regular modes, those modes which are recognized by income tax law as allowed modes of payment. They are account pay check, account pay draft, electronic modes. If you incur any expense more than 10,000, you have to pay by those 3 modes. Otherwise, the expense will be fully disallowed. Where have we seen this? Payment. This is also payment. Purchase of plant and machinery. Any depreciable asset, if you pay more than 10,000, you won't get the deduction of depreciation. Are yes or no? So similar restriction is also there in respect of revenue expenses. Please understand. In capital expense, if you remember the history, I must have told you, it was introduced by Jaitley ji in 2017. Revenue expenses, the limit was in existence even when I studied tax for the first time. Must be 17, 18 years ago. 2007, 18 years ago. First time when I studied, that's more than your age. First time I studied tax. At that time also there was a limit. Those days it was 20,000. But after Modi government came, they wanted to further cut down cash usage. So they reduced the threshold from 20,000 to 10,000. Till now we have seen purchase of fixed assets. So if any furniture, plant and machinery, etc. is purchased and you make payment of more than 10,000 in cash, so that much value you won't get depreciation. But now 40A subsection 3 will cater to our day-to-day revenue expense. In our daily lives, we pay salary to our staff, we pay rent of our offices, our electricity bills, our telephone expenses, our traveling expenses. Supposingly printing and stationery as a coaching class, printing and stationery payment we will be making. Supposingly we want to do some one particular paint of a particular wall, it's a revenue expense, not changing the income earning ability. So we will bring some paint material from the shopkeeper. These are our day-to-day revenue expenses. If you make payment of more than 10,000 in cash, disallowed. And listen, if there is failure to comply with this condition, what are we saying? More than 10,000 has to be paid in allowed mode. 3 allowed modes are clear: account pin check, account pin dump, electronic mode. We want to target, prohibit which mode? Cash. Your expense is going to be fully disallowed. If you pay 10,001 rupee to someone in cash, normally when we give, in a wedding we give an envelope of 501. What is that? 1 rupee? 1 rupee for good luck, shagun, good luck. This 1 rupee is avgun, bad luck. This 1 rupee is for bad luck. Because of this 1 rupee, there will be disallowance of 10,001 rupee. 1 rupee nahi, fully disallowed. This 1 rupee is for bad luck. Asset may be same thing. If it is exact 10,000, it will be allowed. 10,001, so fully, that much amount fully disallowed. क्या दिया? 40,000 I have paid in check and 10,000 I have paid in cash. Exact 10 is allowed. So full 50 ka depreciation I will get. But case 2, 30,000 I pay by check and 20 I pay by cash. So 20 will be fully ignored for depreciation and deduction will be calculated only on 30. Supposingly, it was not 40 and 10, it was 39,999 in check, 10,001 rupee in cash, then that full 10,001 rupee I won't get depreciation. No. Exact 10 will be allowed. 1 rupee above 10,000 will not be allowed. So any day-to-day business expense, if you have paid more than rupees 10,000 in cash, disallowed. Disallowed. And you'll do tax audit, no? As articleship mein you'll be doing. So it depend karta hai, you want to work in audit or tax, or my suggestion is take experience of all the areas so that in job you know that where I have to go and work. Tax audit mein you have to actually check whether any such payment is made. You know how we check it? We pick up the cash ledger. Listen to this. Cash ledger on the credit side is payments. Any individual entry more than 10,000. Think about it. If it is one entry, means it is same person, same day. If it is more than 10,000, we disallow that amount. Understood? Any expenditure more than 10,000 in cash is going to be. So, supposingly, I have paid 8,000 rupees to all of you all for my day-to-day business purchase in cash. 8,000 to all of you all. On the same day I have paid. That's more than 10,000 on the same day. Allowed or disallowed? Allowed. Why? Because one person I pay more than 10,000, it is disallowed. Same person, same day. Be careful. Okay, wait. One person. I pay 8,000 every day for business purchases in cash. Every day. Total is more than 10,000 in the year. But only on one day if I pay more than 10,000, it is disallowed. You understood? Same person, same day. Same person, same day. Different people, we don't merge the amounts. Same person on different dates, we don't merge the amount. If it is more than 10,000, same person, same day. Same person, same day. If it is 10,001 rupee also, the full amount you won't get any deduction. Is that clear? However, if your payee is a transporter, it is possible that you require some goods transport in your business. That means you will be paying transporter to the limit that is given to you. What is the cash payment limit? We will enhance it to 35,000. Normal payments we can make up to. But transporters, sir, transporters. हॉर्न ओके प्लीज, आय तुझा आशीर्वाद, बुरी नजर वाले तेरा मुंह काला, मेरा भारत महान, और AIP, All India Permit. AIB is a comedy group, dissolved now. You all know those highway trucks, those truck drivers who block all the lanes of the highway. You literally want to say a few words to them, but always say it without rolling the window down. Because if you say with the window down, then bro, you may or may not reach where you desire to. They will always block all the lanes on the highway, but they are the backbone of the economy. Please understand. Without truck drivers, our lives will come to a standstill. You eat food. Example क्या? I want to know what you ate today. ऐसे general. अरे खाना खाया ना? You took. What did you eat? Roti, wheat ka roti, bajra roti, jawar roti, which roti? Wheat wala roti. That wheat is not grown in your house. You got it from the local grocery shop, no? And that grocery shop also is not growing that wheat, no? It came from some farm in some distant place of the country. Without transporters, we are all handicapped. The daily consumption of milk, dairy products, your fruits, vegetables, they are transported on a daily basis, bro. From the agriculture markets, from the farms to the agriculture market to the wholesaler, and wholesaler to the retail shops from where you are buying. Without transporters, we can't survive. They are the backbone of the economy. And because they are the backbone, to support them, there are multiple provisions in income tax law. Two come in pgbp, one comes in tds. This is the first. In pgbp there will be one more, and then later in tds there will be one. So as we do them, we'll discuss. For now, normal people payment limit is 10,000, but transporter payment limit is that clear? Okay, so ABC is a transport company, transport. It has paid salary to its staff. Who has paid? Transporter has paid salary to its staff. And because the payment is by transporter, the limit will be rupees 30. Huh? 10 or 35? Because 35 will come when payee is transporter. If payer is transporter, then 10,000 is applicable. We have to see the receiver. So if you make payment to chartered accountant, 10,000. Salary to staff, 10,000. Electricity, telephone, 10,000. But payment to transporter making payment, 10,000. Transporter receiving payment, 35,000. That means normal people, if they pay more than, or normal pays, if we pay more than 10,000, so fully disallowed. But transporter, if we pay more than 35,000, it will be fully disallowed. Is that clear? 40A3 to curb cash in the economy more than the threshold if you pay to the same person same day, normal limit 10,000, transport limit 35,000. 1 rupee also you pay more than that, it will be fully disallowed. Is that clear? 40A3 comes in every CA final and inter paper. You are maintaining that list? That mandatory list में 40A subsection 2 you want to write or no, I leave the choice to you, because it comes, sometimes it does not come. But subsection 3 will come always, 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 always. Always, bro. 48.3 is not yet over. That list will by now, or till now, have 32, 35, 37 2B and 40 small a ka part 1 and part 2. 40A subsection 2, that relatives wala, you write or you don't write, choice is yours, because it does not come always. Sometimes it comes, but this comes always. Because they want to curb cash in the economy, they always ask an adjustment on this. And 40A3 is not over. Now they have given us some exceptions. In that exam question which always comes, some of the questions are on these exceptions. Exceptions are given in rule 6DD. Ladies and gentlemen, income tax rules are not given by parliament. They are made by CBDT. Rules we don't have to study, but once in a while we do. Rule 6DD has given exceptions where 40A3 is not applicable. Exception means that only, no? Which means, what is the summary or conclusion? Therefore, in the following cases, if you make payment more than the limit can be 10 or 35 as applicable. No, we know two types of limits are there. Normal payment 10,000, transporter payments in a disallowed mode. You have made the payment in a disallowed mode. Example of disallowed mode: cash. Only 3 are allowed, no? Account paycheck, account pay draft, electronic mode. Still, you will get your deduction. The expense will not be disallowed. So, bro, not disallowed means what? Not disallowed means what? allowed. Do you understand the meaning of this word now? So listen. Normal cases, if we make payment of more than 10 or 35. Normal cases, if we make payment of more than 10 or 35 in cash, the expense will become disallowed. But in these cases, the expense will still be allowed. So what is your approach as a student in CA exam? If the question comes on this part, see, it's an expense, it will be debited only on this. If the question comes on this part, you have to add. But if the question comes on this part, no effect. Debit to already ho gaya. No effect. You have to be careful. Is it an exception? To allowed. Because restriction is not applicable. And is it not in exception? So disallowed. That means whether it is an exception or not in exception is knowledge of law. Unfit to cash on delivery. But if you know that, then what is the effect? This part we have to add. This part we don't have to add. Now you understood the reason also. But of course, for that you will have to have knowledge of the law. So knowledge of the law means you have to know what are the cases which fall in the exceptions not given in the act. The exceptions are given in the income tax rules. CBDT has given that following cases you can make payment more than the limit in cash also. 1. Any payment to government. Government को you make payment in any manner. Government is happy to receive. Any payment to क्या हुआ? कौन सा word? 10 or 35. Limits are 2, no? 10 or 35. Everyone with me? Any payment to government. Pay 10,000 or 10 crore in cash. No problem. The expense will be allowed. Exception means that. Correct? Hai? Any payment to banks. See, banks are created to handle cash. Deposit is not expense. Please understand. If I use credit card for my day-to-day expenses, so I will make payment to the bank. I can make cash payment to the bank. Bank ko I can make payment. No problem. You understood or no? Supposingly, I have taken some banking service in my business. For that, I have paid in cash. No problem. Banks are created to handle cash. No problem. Any payment which is done through bank transfer voucher. Your generation of app-based banking will not even know what this is. When was the last time you went to a bank branch? Don't say, sir, Aadhaar update के लिए, KYC update के लिए. These days, तो KYC also e-KYC में, you have to just click on that link, on that video, you have to show your PAN card, Aadhaar card, and they do your e-KYC. For banking related work, when was the last time you went to a branch? Cash also you withdraw, you go to ATM. Bank work के लिए, when was the last time? Last year. When was the last time you received a payment from someone in check? Paid someone in check का तो I'm not even asking question in student life. Receive भी कहाँ से करो? Good question. In my humble, I don't remember. ये तो ठीक है. अभी recent times में वो क्या है ना कि वो that home purchase and office purchase का जो concept है. In that the loan वाला part, the bank gives by a check only. Bank does not do any EFT. Say I purchase a house from you, तो home loan का money bank will directly give in your account by giving a check of your name. So that check has to be deposited. Is probably that if I ignore that home or office purchase wala part, in the last 5 years, I have not received or paid any check. I have forgotten my signature also. Thank God we are auditors. So we have to keep signing and reminding ourselves that keep signing, you'll get paid for it. Keep practicing your signature. When you go to a bank branch and you want to transfer money from one account to the other, option 1, RTGS and EFT. Option 2, you can go for account pay check. Option 3, account pay draft. There is one more option called transfer voucher. Sir, what is a transfer voucher? When both of us have account in the same bank, same branch. Which bank? One bolna, Amir. Canara. Which is the other one? So when you have Canara Bank and ICICI, to show yourself a good image, you should always say ICICI. ICICI. Which branch? परेल ब्रांच. अच्छा वो ब्रिज के. My home branch is ICICI Opera House because once upon a time I used to live there. But of course now all the banking requirement, if I have to go for this KYC and all that, otherwise banking work I don't have to go. So I go to that branch only. So supposingly you and me have the account in the same bank, same branch, and I have to make payment to you. I can walk into the bank branch and pick up a piece of paper called the transfer voucher. I will write my account number, your account number, and the amount and sign. I'll say transfer 5 lakh rupees from my account to your account. The bank has to only reduce my balance and increase your balance. Debit one person, credit other person without any movement of cash. Have I transferred money from my account to your account? To make a business payment, is this account pay check? Think about it. Transfer voucher I have signed. So is that account pay check? What are you thinking? No. Is that account pay draft? No. And have I done online electronic transfer? No, I signed a physical voucher. Correct? Hai? So that way, it is none of the three allowed modes. Having said that, is a bank involved? Hello? So transaction is real ke fake? So we should allow that. Because we are not defeating the purpose of the section. So transfer voucher is not three allowed modes. In any case, our target was. Which mode was our target? Cash. It is not cash. We will allow. No problem. You understood or no? Next. Any payment that you make through something called book entry. Example I'll give you. Creditor account debit to debtor account. Can we have sometime settlement entries? Supposingly I have to receive 5 lakh from you and pay 5 lakh to her. So what do I tell you? Pay her. Correct? Take second. Have I paid my creditor? How? By bank? No. Account pay check, draft, electronic mode? No. But the point is that I have still not paid cash. No. I have settled my debtor. It's called an adjustment through book entry. This payment cannot be considered as violation. Violation will be only and only if we have made payment by cash. So through book entry, through transfer voucher, we won't consider violation, and therefore the expense will be allowed or disallowed. Allowed. Next. Any payment that you make to people who are in cottage industry where goods are made without the aid of power. Cottage industry without the aid of power. See, maybe you are running some handicraft shop. Handicraft, as the name indicates, they make it with their own hands without using any machinery or without using any power. Handcrafted articles. So you are buying from them and selling in your shop here. So are those purchases your trading expenses? You can make payment in cash, no problem. Any payment made to cottage industry where goods are manufactured without using power, you can make cash expenditure more than 10,000. No problem. We are putting them in exception. So the expense will be allowed or disallowed. If I have paid in cottage industry more than 10,000 in cash, allowed or disallowed? Allowed. Next. Any payment that I am making to make purchases from the following industries. I am making purchases from the agriculture industry. Means I am making payment to farmer. Hello. Farmers are generally away from banking also because they don't have income tax. I can make payment in cash. Understand? I am a mango shop owner. Mango, Alfonso Mangoes. Maharashtra is the hub of that. In Maharashtra, we have a district called Ratnagiri, which is the creator of the Alfonso mango. And out of all the varieties of the mango, the most loved is only the Alfonso. So there is a farmer which is growing these mangoes in some village of Ratnagiri. I purchase from him and sell it in Mumbai. So for me, the mango purchase is business purchase. I can make payment in cash because I am purchasing from agriculture, farmer. You can make payment to farmer in cash. The expense will be allowed. You all have heard of these activities: apiculture, horticulture. आकाश आकाश हॉर्टी है आर 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 से द साउंड ऑफ फोनिक्स क्लास किया बचपन में sound kids are developed given that sound development class. So what is R sound? This is I see my wife teaching my son like this. What is the sound of N? Na. It's not na, Akash. It's Akash and bro, we have to clarify. You know what it is, Akash? क्या है? He's like art, yaar. They are growing all types of agriculture products. But we have discussed bee farming in 35 AD. And likewise, there is also something called fruits ka farming. So that bee farming, fruit farming, apiculture, horticulture means any type of farming. Farm products, whether agriculture wala farming or bee farming or your fruits wala farming, all types of farm products are going to be covered here. In fact, if you are buying dairy products, poultry products, bro, dairy is food for some, poultry is food for someone else. This is also farming only. Murgiyon ka farm. Hen, fish and fish products. All types of farming activities, you can make payment in cash. Absolutely no problem. Understood? So the expense will be allowed. Your face tells me that you are already thinking of some idea. Sir, तो फिर मेरे को ऐसे ना चल speak. What is that idea that you are thinking of? चल. देखो, bro, I am telling you, understand, I am in this profession for the last, I will complete 15 years now. And I am at least having that ability. By looking at your face, I can tell you almost exactly what is going on in your mind. Speak. Your expression was good enough. And I am also good enough. Both. Potter. Not Harry Potter. Harry Potter will also come to Uttar Pradesh and become Hari Puttar. That is not covered, no, yaar. What is covered is clearly written in front of you. But that is not handicraft. That's a different art altogether. So there you can make purchases only by making payments of the allowed modes. Okay? Next, you are making payment in a village where there is no bank. As of today, to be very honest, the rural village is served by banking. You have to give Modi ji credit for this. He started by first having branches in rural areas, then told those villagers to open something called Jan Dhan account, zero balance. Then he introduced demonetization so that all the limited cash that you have, you put in your banks. Earlier, they did not have bank accounts. Today, in my village is actually not too rural, means it is basically a district, not a district, it's they call it tehsil, taluka. It is still a respectable village in that area, but next to my village there are small villages. In the smallest of villages, the smallest of shopkeeper but as good as daily wage earner, because that daily income is only his household expense, also is sitting with a voice box. Paytm pe 12 rupees प्राप्त हुए. Smallest of villages. I am not talking about cities or towns. Everyone is served under bank. So probability of this happening is too less. But by chance I have to make purchases from such a village where there is no bank. And those purchases only I am selling in my business. If there is no bank only, how can I pay check? I will be allowed to make payment in cash. Understood? But listen, criteria is simple. Huh? Village does not have bank. Bro, listen. Village has bank. But your creditor from whom you are buying, they have not opened account. That is not exception. Then expenses disallowed. Otherwise, I will say my village is Mumbai. No account. Are? Village does not have bank is an exception. Village has bank, you don't open account is not an exception. ये क्लियर है? If you are making payment to an authorized dealer to buy forex, see, many a times we have to incur foreign currency expense. So we have to bring foreign currency by giving Indian currency. Yes or no? A lot of these forex dealers do accept check or NEFT payment. We give them INR and they remit US dollars. For example, if I have to make payment for my Zoom subscription, so ICICI Bank takes from me money in INR and then remits money to Zoom in US dollar. These are authorized dealers. Okay, so I pay it using my credit card. But for foreign currency purchases, ultimately you have to give Indian currency. You give in check or cash, no problem. It is basically a currency exchange, which will be required because think about it. You go with Indian currency somewhere and you want to exchange that Indian currency for some other currency. So where will you first deposit in the bank and then transfer? You can simply give one currency, take another currency. So exchange of currency using with authorized dealer, of course. There are a lot of dealers who sell foreign currency in the grey market. They will sell you in cash only. You know of grey market forex dealers? Bro, I supposedly want 2000 US dollars for a foreign trip. So 1000 US dollars I will pay using check because I need some expense to show that if you travel to foreign country, so you must have incurred some expense. No? But the half of it we buy in cash only. Sometimes authorized dealers only, half they give in check, half they give in cash. Big business. Big business. The buying rate, selling rate, of course, is going to be different. That also, whenever you are returning from a foreign trip, please make sure that the low denomination notes you finish. Because if they will give you $100 notes. As you go and spend, you'll keep on converting them into change. But by the end, if you are left with $1 note, $2 note, some coins, they will not accept it. So starting mein, you spend the way you want. Near your return, please make sure that you keep the high denomination currency and utilize the low denomination because that still can be exchanged, the high denomination. But still there will be rate difference. He will sell it to you for 80 rupees, then later pay you only 80 rupees. That difference is typically his margin. Is that understood? So any payment to authorized dealer is also going to be allowed. Next, if you are paying terminal benefits, retirement benefits to your employees up to rupees 50,000, you can pay in cash. Lol. Retirement benefits are like your commuted pension, lump sum gratuity. You understand? It's the last day of the employee. So he's leaving. So today he has come to settle his balance. We give him and send him. Bye. At that time we can pay cash because he may not come again to take his check, no? But the limit is so less. And believe me, guys, first time I studied this section, it was 50,000. I thought, no, first time I studied. Those days, 50,000 retirement benefit still was sensible. Today, bro, at least make it 5 lakh, if not 50. So present day circumstance, some of these exceptions require some up-down amendment. For example, this is no longer required if you understand. Authorized dealers also accept I give him GPay or credit card payment or anything from my bank balance and then in return I get foreign currency. This is also not required. This is required, but at least change the limit. Last one also, believe me, is not required. Unfortunately, because it is not in the act, it is in the rules. They are not putting any effort to make any correction out here. They say if you have sent on employee on a temporary posting. See, temporary posting means employee is not going to settle over there. So he won't open bank account there. So then you will have to pay him salary over there. Now, if he does not have a bank account over there, so how will you pay him salary? You can pay him in cash. No problem. But condition 1, he is for more than 15 days. Temporary does not mean you have sent him for 3-4 days. Because 3-4 days he can survive without salary. But once you cross 15 days, then salary has to be paid. And second, your employee does not have any bank account there, which is logical. He may not have a bank account there because he is in a temporary posting. Why will he open a bank account over there in a temporary job? But present day scenario, again it becomes irrelevant. Why, sir? Because we can transfer employee account, and employee also does not need cash. All shopkeepers over there will accept UPI from him. Bro, that day when ATM came, no, that day also it was irrelevant. We will transfer in your account and you withdraw from the ATM, no. UPI was not required to remove this. ATM network is good enough to remove this if you are in urgent need of cash. So present day, some of these exceptions have become outdated. Of course, one day when I become the finance minister of country 2, I will still complete your portion. We have to bring about certain changes. Ladies and gentlemen, these are those 10 cases where cash expense more than the limit, whether 10 or 35, is also going to be allowed. So normally, if we pay more than 10 or to transporter more than 35 in cash, the expense becomes fully disallowed. But in these cases, the expense is going to be allowed. Everyone is clear on this? Fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. We are near completion of our disallowed expenses. The last two things we will be doing together after a 10-minute break, please. Hello. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Let's go ahead. We are still doing disallowed expenses, but yes, we are near completion of disallowed expenses. Next that we have is section 40A ka subsection 7, 9 and 11. All of them are similar payments only. We are talking about contribution to employee benefit funds. See, employee benefit funds are of various types. So there will be gratuity fund, pension fund, provident fund, superannuation fund. The law is same for all of them, just different subsection for different type of fund. And in any case, forget the subsection part. In any case, different subsections, but rule is same. You have to go and check whether the employee benefit fund is an approved fund or unapproved fund. Approved gratuity fund, approved pension fund, approved superannuation fund, recognized provident fund is basically compliance with government rules and regulations. On the other hand, unapproved or unrecognized means non-compliance. Logically speaking, where do you think the expense will be allowed and where do you think the expense will be disallowed? Approved, what do you think? Allowed or disallowed? Obviously, approved will be allowed. Oh, wait, sir, we are doing disallowed expenses. This is allowed under section 36(1). Now tell me, 36(1) is approved, 36(1) is allowed expense or disallowed? So go check in 36 we have done contribution to employee benefit funds. Correct? Hai? Actually, 40A is this part. 40A says contribution to unapproved will be disallowed. But I am doing parallel learning of approved as well as unapproved. So unapproved is going to be disallowed under section 48. This section is covering only the unapproved part because approved we have already covered in 36. Approved is going to be allowed. So everyone has to understand the lyrics of the existing song. Approved, allowed. Unapproved, disallowed. Easy lyrics. Approved, unapproved. Very logical also. And sing with me please. Approved, allowed. Unapproved, disallowed. Approved, allowed. Unapproved, disallowed. But we are living in the era of Honey Singh. Yo-yo Honey Singh. So lyrics will undergo change. The whole business idea of Yo-Yo Honey Singh is pick up a very old Indian classical song, change the music a bit and add some yo-yo in it and make it a modern song. So lyrics will change. But for now the lyrics are approved, allowed, unapproved, disallowed. Approved, allowed, unapproved, disallowed. But there's a question. See, the reason why we disallow unapproved is that you make provision by debiting P&L account, showing a liability. See, either you show expense and make payment or show expense and show current liability. Debit the P&L and credit effect is current liability. If you are under government regulation, you will make payment. But because here you are not under government regulation, there are people who are only showing expense, never paying it. Therefore, disallowed. Because there is no control over you, no. Having said that, if you actually make payment to your employees, then in that case, we don't mind giving you deduction. Because one thing the business profession chapter clearly understands, that every day-to-day pgbp expense, you can't be having government approval. Think about it. You don't have government approval to your telephone expense or electricity expense or rent. Everything is not approved. Ultimately, we have to see whether it is a genuine business expense. If you have made payment to your employee, it has to be genuine business expense. That way, the salary that you are paying, are you taking approval from anyone? No. So, if you actually pay, then we don't mind. We have a problem with those who are making provision and not paying. If you actually make payment, then it will be allowed even if it is unapproved. And therefore, the lyrics: approved, unapproved, disallowed, but if paid, allowed. You understood the lyrics? They will change again later, but for now, approved, unapproved, but if paid. Yo, 1, 2, 3, everyone. Approved, allowed, nahi. Approved, allowed. Unapproved, but if paid. Yes, please. Approved, allowed. Unapproved, disallowed, but if paid, allowed. Is everyone clear? We'll come back to these lyrics after some time. We'll require about 2 lines here. And with this, we go to section 43B. We will come back and complete this part after learning something in 43B. By the way, in this we had already given cross-reference of also refer to 43B. So ladies and gentlemen, quick recap of the lyrics. What have you understood? Because we have not yet started 43B. What have you studied here? Approved, allowed, unapproved, disallowed, ये correct है. So now let's talk about 43B. 43B. Disallowance is over, bro. I already told you disallowance is a very small part. 43B we will do, and while doing 43B, we will come back and complete. You've left 2 lines. 43B. Certain deductions that we give you. Do we give you deduction? PGBP chapter is all about taking your deduction. Only if you make payment. Only if you make payment. If this expense is unpaid, outstanding, it will be disallowed. For that, I would like to first introduce you to one thought which you haven't had throughout the chapter. Is this my P&L account? Do I write my sales here? The sales can be in credit or the sales can be in cash. Do I write all types of sales? So my question is, am I showing income without receiving money? And I am ready to pay tax without receiving money? Yes or no? So likewise, there will be purchases also in cash and in credit. Can I take deduction of an expense without paying money? Yes, because I am also showing income without receiving money. We call it accrual method of accounting. Accrual mercantile. Correct hai? Very quickly you answer. Am I showing income without receiving money? Yes. Will I get deduction of expense without paying money? Yes. Yes. If I follow accrual, I can follow accrual, and when I follow accrual, I will recognize my expenses on due basis without making payment, and I can take deduction also. But any expense which comes in this section 43B means it will be some of these expenses only. You will get deduction only if you pay. Listen to this next sentence. Normally, you can take PGBP deduction of any unpaid expense also if it is due, provided you are following accrual method of accounting. See, those who follow cash method of accounting will not show expense only, no, unless and until they pay. Think about it. Any person following cash system will book expense if paid. Unpaid expense they will not show only. Accrued expense they will not show only. So our target in this section is people who are following accrual basis, mercantile method of accounting. They will show expense even without paying. Will they get deduction? Yes, but these expenses only if paid. Means normally outstanding expenses allowed or disallowed? Allowed. But these outstanding expenses disallowed. And for making payment, we are giving you time till John. 139.1 due date. What is 139.1 due date? John. So please understand what is happening. This is my previous year. I am making my expenses here on due basis. There will be some expenses which are unpaid over here. In my balance sheet, will they be current liabilities? Think about it. Will they be current liabilities? It is possible that some of these liabilities have not become due on the balance sheet date. Now I am in my assessment here. These liabilities are becoming due. I'm making payment. Any payment that I make before John will be considered as paid. Means 43B says if these expenses are unpaid, they will be disallowed. But they are paid or not paid, I won't be checking on the balance sheet date. No. Balance sheet date, even if they are unpaid, doesn't matter. Disallowance will come if they are unpaid on John. That is your 139.1 due date. If they are unpaid on John, that is your 139.1 due date, then and only then your disallowance will come. Otherwise, your disallowance won't come. You understood? Otherwise, your expense is going to be allowed. You understood? So, ladies and gentlemen, understand the following things very quickly. Do some people follow accrual basis of account? Are they showing income without receiving money? Can they get deduction of expense without paying? Yes. But these expenses you will not get. These expenses you will get only if paid. For making payment, we won't check the balance sheet date. Whether balance sheet date outstanding or not outstanding is irrelevant. We will see the John, that is your 139.1 due date, whether by that date it is paid or unpaid. Is that clear? So now what is your question? If it is clear that these expenses you have to pay, if they are unpaid on John, so they will be disallowed. What's your question? What are those expenses? I have to just give you the list. Before I give you the list, I want to see if you have understood the following two things. One, do you realize this section will be applicable only and only on someone who follows accrual method of accounting? Because if you follow cash method of accounting, you won't show only expense before making payment. And if you won't show only, there is no question of outstanding or taking deduction. Second, I don't know whether you thought about it. These expenses are normally allowed expenses, but they are becoming disallowed as they have been unpaid on this date. If they were paid, they would have been allowed. Paid till which date? Balance sheet date. Paid till John. They would have been allowed. See, what I want you to understand is, supposingly there is some expense which is in any case disallowed because of some reason in income tax. It is disallowed. Then this section is not Ganga Nadi, that you go and take your dip in the holy Ganga and it will wash off all your sins. Coincidentally, Mahakumbh is going on right now. So, any plans? Okay, that also you want to do digitally. Samar sir, syllabus. What plans we make, we don't know. No problem, bro. No problem. Make your plan in the next Kumbh. It will happen after 12 years. So 144 years wala to what to do? No, एक minute. What to do? Our great grandparent or great grandson also did not get the opportunity. बस. तो it's a coincidence that you are born now. है ना? हाँ नहीं तो go same day return. Go morning, come in the evening. We'll keep a separate lecture on what was the history of that kumbh in which the Amrit was being taken and then 4 drops of that fell. Ujjain, Prayagraj, Haridwar and Nasik. I will keep a separate lecture. That day I will come in a dhoti, put a proper tilak, and knowing today's generation ka tendency, the crowd on that day will be full. Okay, he's talking about things other than studies. Chalo, let's. Huh? Prasad. And bro, he does not follow the same religion, still he will come to attend. Okay, time pass ka anything, I am ready. Anything worth my career, not important. But anything which is not relevant, irrelevant stuff, I am ready for it. And prasad mein don't take what Pratik gives you. Pratik will give you Shiv Ji ka prasad. So please understand, this section is not Ganga Nadi. Okay. Do you remember I was our biggest competitor in business? And to get me eliminated from the business, what did she do? Contract killing. Supari. Account debit to cash account, to bank account. And she paid by bank. Professional fees. Deducted TDS also 10%. Paid a contract killer to get me eliminated. Correct? Yeah? And after today, the probability has increased also. You never know. From tomorrow onwards, I will have to bring bodyguards with me. Car ka either parking is not there because full compound is under construction. And normally, in the car, bodyguards can sit. I wonder how, till the time the compound construction work is not over, I can't get my car. I have to get my two-wheeler. How will I bring 2-3 bodyguards on one two-wheeler is still a question. One will stand on this side like they do that Republic Day ka parade, no? That 2-3 I will have to make them sit on the same vehicle and bring them. Lol. I fear for my life. Kya? You have something proper, then say it open. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen. She has paid that money to the contract killer as a business expense. Correct? And the amount is paid. Forget till the John date, she has paid in the financial year itself. By the way, we can pay till the John date also. Need not pay before the year gets over. Balance sheet date, it is outstanding, no problem. After balance sheet date, but before 139.1, if you pay, it is still okay. She has paid. So allowed or disallowed? Allowed or disallowed? Paid before due date of return. Balance sheet date is irrelevant. Which example I gave you? What world are you in? The contract killing expense, supari account debit to bank account. Paid through check, because more than 10,000 in cash you can't pay. Of course, nobody will kill for less than 10,000. Allowed or disallowed? Arey, paid. Paid to allowed or disallowed? Disallowed. Why? So that's what I make you understand by the example of Ganga Nadi, that an illegal expense which is otherwise disallowed cannot become allowed because it is paid. What is disallowed will remain disallowed. What is disallowed will remain disallowed. What is allowed will become disallowed if it comes in this section and it is unpaid. You understood? Everyone, now we can go to the list. So this section applies only to those who follow accrual. And second, these are normally allowed expenses because of being unpaid, they became disallowed. So very quickly, do we show credit sales, pay tax without receiving money? So we can take deduction without paying money. But not these expenses. These expenses have to be paid. Till which date they have to be paid? Till June. So balance sheet date they are outstanding. Is that okay? In any case, the conclusion is paid or unpaid. I will check on the due date. Next, obviously cash system people are not covered in this section because they are not claiming only expense. So this section applies only to accrual. And second, these expenses in normal pgbp are allowed. Anything that is already disallowed will remain disallowed. Anything that is already allowed but comes in this list, so will become unpaid, so it will become disallowed. What are these expenses? One by one. First, any kind of indirect tax will be allowed if paid. Indirect taxes are going to increase your cost. You understand how? Supposingly, I pay 1 lakh for purchases and my product is under 12% GST. So the total payment that I will make to the supplier is 1,12,000. If I am registered dealer, then I will get input tax credit. But if I am not a registered dealer, my cost is 1,12,000. You understand or no? I won't get my input tax credit, my ITC. Yes or no? Indirect taxes, therefore they inflate our cost. Therefore they will be allowed as a deduction. But if paid, 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 if they are unpaid, disallowed. You understood? And it is a rule of income tax. Whenever receiver is government, in any chapter, any government, central government, state government or local authority, your tax benefit will come only if it is payment. Done. Outstanding won't be covered. Go check professional tax of salary chapter. Go check municipal tax of house property chapter, or check these taxes here. If you have to pay any kind of tax, the tax benefit will come only and only and only if. So all indirect taxes only if paid. Correct? Eh? So very quickly you will have to tell me allowed or disallowed. Okay. Custom duty paid. कस्टम ड्यूटी नहीं है. हाँ, कस्टम ड्यूटी पेड, अलाउड और डिसअलाउड? अलाउड. एक्साइज ड्यूटी अनपेड. बाय द वे, देयर इज एक्साइज, वैट, एवरीथिंग इवन नाउ. All your favorite products, petroleum products. And this has happened before in class. So we still have excise and VAT. Paid, allowed. GST unpaid, disallowed. Sir, why? Unpaid. By the way, my paid unpaid is on due date of return filing. A balance sheet date is irrelevant. Income tax paid. 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 Direct taxes are already disallowed. This section is not Ganga Nadi. Anything that is disallowed will remain disallowed. Anything that is allowed but is not paid will become disallowed. You understood or no? Hello? You understood, no? So any indirect tax, if paid, if unpaid, disallowed. Any direct tax, always disallowed. Second, any payment for usage of railway assets. So if you understand, these two are related to government, because railways also owned by government. So payment for usage of railway assets. Hello? Railway has got stations, trains, railway poles. They are used for all types of business generation. For example, people have stalls at railway stations. They put advertisements on trains. Inside the trains these days, so you see advertisements put inside train toilets also. Because that is precisely a place where a person can peacefully sit and read. You're free, no? I am talking about the official advertisements put by railways by giving a contractor, not those things which people write using a marker pen. Life lessons people write in railway toilets with marker pen, and then you have no idea, no experience of this. Oh, rich people, sir, I only fly, sir. Airline toilet का बात करो. नहीं. Just imagine going to an airplane with a marker pen in your pocket, travel by Indigo, and in the toilet write fly spice jet in bold. No? People are using railway property for generation of business income. They should pay the rent, the advertisement charges, etc. Is that a PGBP expense? Yes, deduction will be given, but only if paid. Government ka money you keep outstanding. Why I say government money? Because railway is owned by government. If government ka money you keep outstanding, we won't be giving you the deduction. Are you understanding this? So any payment for usage of railway assets, only and only if the amount is paid. Everyone is clear? Next, bonus and commission to employees. Bonus and commission to employees. First, I will tell you the meaning, then I will tell you the logic, then I will tell you where I will play games with you, very dirty games with you. So check section 36(1) में we wrote bonus and commission, in bracket we wrote also refer 43B, and I told you that when I do 43B I will explain this. You had any trust issues at that time? You have any trust issues now that he is saying that he will do it, what if he later does not? You have any trust issues? You have any trust issues that I am promising something, later on I may not be doing it? You know, if you had trust issues on the first or the second lecture, understandable. Today at 60% syllabus completion, if you have trust issues, what the hell are you doing in the classroom only to recover your cost so that I use class AC, not home AC? You can't be having trust issues now, bro. है ना? So ladies and gentlemen, bonus and commission in 36(1) I wrote also refer to 43B, because bonus and commission to employees is a business expense. It will be allowed, but because it is an expense covered under 43B, it will be allowed only and only when it is paid. That means if it is unpaid, it will be disallowed, and this paid unpaid we will check not on balance sheet date. Balance sheet date it is unpaid, no problem, but it will be disallowed if it is unpaid on John. Correct hai everyone? That's the meaning. Sir, what is the logic? What is the logic? Why? Supposingly you are working in a big 4 CA firm. You've heard stories of big 4? Worse than quota, bro. Every day someone commits suicide over there. You know, EY became high profile, but the condition in the other firms is also same. One of our past student cleared CA inter rank holder. He comes home at 5 o'clock. PM nahi. Goes to office at 9 a.m. and comes next day 5 a.m. And sometimes so he feels that why now to go also for 4 hours, because that office has given, there is a wardrobe, you can keep your clothes over there, there is a bathroom, you can take your bath over there. You're not understanding, they are giving you facilities to suck your blood. They don't go only for 4 hours. Where you'll go? There is this restroom, go and there is this place to rest, go and have a nap over there. Is when people get suddenly attracted with those high-fi corporate offices which you have not seen. You get sea view, then down, no, go jump. See, what will you do with that sea view of someone else's office? Jump. No, get your own office. But supposingly you're working in big 4, life is a hell, bro. Okay. During the afternoon, when you are having your lunch, your manager calls you that I have some work. You say, I am eating food, still come for a moment. Generally you shouldn't be disturbing people eating food, but your manager is like that. You're very angry, but you have to go. And you go and ask, and they are going to be cruel. Okay? They are not going to get affected by any of your reaction, bro. You cry, you die, does not make any difference to them. Okay. So you go and ask the manager what? The manager is asking you, how is your study going? Bola sir, what to say? Study is not happening, only how it can be going. 4 hours you leave me out of 24. What will I study in that? I'll watch the video lecture or attend the video lecture or revise. What exactly do you expect me to do during those 4 hours? Bola, okay, fine, I have a proposal for you. We are passing a journal entry. Bonus account debit to employee account. Means we are passing a journal entry of bonus to employees. You can say bonus account debit to bonus payable account also, because we are not doing to cash bank. It is a current liability. Correct? The employee suddenly is like, wow, sir. So this year the organization is giving us bonus. Wow, sir. The manager says, bro, look at my face. You think I am going to give you bonus? And if yes, then look at your face. You think I will be giving you bonus? Hey. This year, our organization has too much of profits. So too much of tax liability is coming. We are passing this journal entry to show this expense. Reduce our profit, save tax. In a future year, whenever we will be having less profits, this is a current liability, no? We will write it off, debit this liability and credit the P&L account. Whenever in future we have less profits, we will re-recognize the income. But right now we are only booking. Let me be very clear, we are never going to pay you. You understand? Of course, what will the employee say? Sir, I leave your job immediately. I don't want to work with such a... Bro, you want to sign on your articleship completion form. You can't be leaving that job. Remember that boss is always right. Rule number 1 of the corporate world. And rule number 2? Huh? Who told you this? Meme mein dekha. Rule number 2. There is no rule number 2. Follow rule number 1. So you have to follow that. So what will happen? They are booking bonus expense but not paying that bonus. Reducing their profit. We won't give you deduction. We will give you deduction only and only if it is paid. Now you understand? Logic. Meaning clear? Bonus and commission. Therefore, we wrote also refer 43B. Logic clear? Look at my face. Look at your face. Now answer the following questions. Bonus to employees paid. Allowed or disallowed? Allowed. Paid, unpaid on due date, not balance sheet date. Commission to employees unpaid. Disallowed. Salary to employees unpaid. Allowed or disallowed? Why, sir? Because the section mentions only bonus and commission. Institute will ask you salary unpaid. Allowed or disallowed? See, in bonus we can do cheating. Sir, what kind of cheating? Promise but not pay. Salary is contractual. You have to pay. You understood or no? And therefore, salary, whether paid or unpaid, it will be allowed. In salary, you can't call the employee in your cabin and say that we are passing an entry. It is a pre-decided amount. Correct? Fantastic. Next. Mr. X is an agent selling our products. So we pay him commission. That commission to agent was unpaid. Unpaid. Allowed or disallowed? Allowed. Because you can call your employee in the cabin and tell him I am passing an entry. You can't do that with independent agents. Otherwise, he'll sell someone else's goods. Only bonus commission, only employees. Only bonus commission, only employees. Are you clear? Only bonus commission and only employees. Are we clear? Salary, paid or unpaid, not covered here. Agents, paid or unpaid, not covered here. This section covers only bonus and commission. This section covers only employees. Everyone is clear? Fantastic. Next, leave encashment to employees. You all know the meaning of leave encashment. Now I'll tell you the big four work culture. Work culture, big four work culture. You are going to be working for 366 days, even in non-leap years. Any time or energy left within you belongs to them. Your life is not your life. Your life belongs to them. Bro, forget your life. Their current statements of their corporate world are your life. Nahi, bro, you can't even stare at your wife. How long can you stare at your wife? We've discussed this before. L&T chairman. Bro, talk about your wife. Why speak for everyone? Simple. Hai? So same thing we will do with our employees here also, no? Leave encashment account debit to leave encashment payable account. Pass the entry but never pay. Deduction will be given only and only if paid. And third in this series, contribution to approved employee benefit funds. Contribution to what? Approved employee benefit funds. Contribution to approved employee benefit funds. Everyone is with me? Can I say these three are related to your employees? So when you make promises to your employees, you won't get deduction. You will get deduction only if you pay. Is it okay if it is outstanding on balance sheet date? Yes, you have to pay up to due date of return filing. Approved employee benefit funds, are they a part of 43B? Which means in 36(1) I wrote also refer 43B. And now we come and complete this. Anyone remembers the existing lyrics? Because we are going and completing what we have left pending. Then we come and finish the last 2-3 points of 43B also. Anyone remembers the existing lyrics? Approved, allowed, unapproved, correct hai? But there is a twist in this story again. Approved is allowed, but it is covered under section 43B. And when we say it is covered under section 43B, that means it is going to be allowed, but only and only and only if it is paid. Therefore, approved also, if it remains unpaid, it is going to be disallowed. So, music, approved, listen first. Approved, allowed, but only if paid. Unapproved, disallowed, but if paid, allowed. So, ladies and gentlemen, approved, but only if unapproved, but if paid. So, what's the current scenario in the law? Approved, allowed, only if paid. Unapproved. So, fatapat answer. Approved. If paid, allowed. If unpaid, disallowed. Unapproved. If paid, allowed. If unpaid, if paid, approved, unapproved, and if unpaid, approved, and unapproved. मेरे को चक्कर है. Bro, the lyrics and the meaning have completely changed. Typically, the game of Chinese whispers. Chinese whisper? Supposingly, I speak something in her ears. Wo year by year, you have to speak and pass on the message, you know. But whatever the first person will speak, they will write on a separate paper and hide that. I will speak in your ears, yours, aisa karke, we speak in each other's ears. And then the last person will have to come and speak it loudly, and we compare it with what we wrote on the paper. It will never match. These days on social media, video form mein, you see that game also when people are standing in one line. So the last person will do some gesture in front of the second last person, but the other people are facing on the other side. So now one by one they will tap that person will turn around, repeat that action, and the first person's action and the last person's action will always be different. Final effect. If paid, and if unpaid. Last question from the student. Sir, we have understood that starting may we were checking approved, unapproved. By the end, what are we examining? Paid, unpaid. That means, sir, approved, unapproved does not make any difference only. It makes a small difference. I'll explain how. Is this covered under 43B? So we get the deduction if paid, but for making this payment, we get time till 139.1, that is John, because 43B gives extended. But as far as unapproved is concerned, if pay, we allow that also. But because unapproved is not covered under 43B, so you have to make this payment up to 31st March. In case you make this payment in April, so you will get deduction, but next year. And here, if we make payment in April, May, June, July, we'll get deduction in this previous year itself. You understood? Effectively, deduction will be payment basis. For approved, we get extended time, but for unapproved, we don't have that extended time available to us. ये clear है everyone? Hello? Fantastic. Now coming back to 43B. Certain deductions will be allowed only if paid. Certain deductions will be allowed only if correct है. Paid till which date? John. This is applicable only to those who follow accrual basis of accounting, because those who follow cash, they in any case don't book only expense, and these expenses are normally allowed, but they will become disallowed if they are unpaid. Correct? 2 related to the government, indirect taxes and railway assets. 3 related to employees. Remember, bonus, commission, not salary, and only if employees, not agents. Second, leave encashment, and third, contribution to approved benefit, employee benefit funds. Next, any interest that is payable to a public financial institution, any interest that is payable to a scheduled or a cooperative bank. So do you realize these two are related to interest payments? 2 related to government, 3 related to employees, 2 related to interest. See, please understand, we must have taken some loans from these organizations. Public financial institution is a place where public have deposited their money, and that money they give in the form of loans. Same is the case of scheduled bank and cooperative bank. See, please understand, if these borrowers pay their interest on time, they will be able to pay their depositors on time. Today, the whole banking sector is what? We open our deposit, FD, RD, saving account, etc. Our deposit money is given as business loan, unsecured loan, personal loan, car loan, home loan, commercial loan. From there, banks are earning 8, 9, 9.5% interest. And or you're saving FD, RD, they are giving you 4, 5, 6% interest. And banks are actually surviving on that difference. Correct? Hai? If the people who have taken loans don't pay interest, then how will we pay interest to our fixed deposit holders, our current account holders, saving account holders? Current account, there is no interest, but principal is there. So we want to make sure that their money comes on time, and therefore deduction will be given only if paid. Logic. So interest, that is my business expense, and the loan I have taken from scheduled bank, cooperative bank, or public financial institution, that interest will be allowed as a deduction only and only if interest is paid. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, wait. Mr. X has borrowed money from a public financial institution for its business. Mr. A has borrowed money from a public financial institution for his business, and the interest is paid. Allowed or disallowed? Allowed. And if it is unpaid, disallowed. Mr. B has borrowed money from a scheduled bank for his daughter's wedding. Borrowed money from a scheduled bank for a daughter's wedding, and the interest is unpaid. Unpaid is disallowed. And if it is paid, still disallowed. Why? Because this section is not Ganga Nadi. What is disallowed will remain disallowed. Why disallowed? personal expense. Mr. C borrowed money from his friend for his business. Mr. C borrowed money from his friend for his business and the interest is paid. Follow. But if it is unpaid, why? To disallowed. What was the full question? Can you repeat? No, repeat the question. C bought nahi, borrowed money. Nahi, in between you have finished of the most important data of the question for the purpose of business. What nonsense are you speaking? Matlab, are you trying to say that for business I can't take loan from my friends or relatives and that expense will be disallowed? So that interest that I have paid to my friends or relatives, if the loan is utilized for business, so that interest is going to be so paid to allowed to pay. That I said also I was asking about unpaid. So you are contradicting. Nahi, sir, paid still disallowed. Arey, why disallowed? Because friend. This was your answer. Sir, disallowed because friend. Arey, that means you don't even remember. Kya? Bank. Only bank. No. No. This. So if I borrow money from friend, do I get deduction? As long as the loan is used for business, will I get deduction? The most important data though you eliminated only. Will I get deduction? Yes. Interest is paid though. Yes. You said paid to disallowed. Arey, paid to it is allowed. Unpaid, then it is allowed because friend is not public financial institution. Disallowance will come only if the lender is there. If the lender is anybody else, so it won't be disallowed as long as it's a business loan. Understood? So 2 related to interest, 2 related to government and 3 related to employees. Is that clear? If this was not enough, last year, so students who gave their exams in May 24, September 24 or Jan 25, this was an amendment. And this was the most discussed amendment of PGBP chapter last. If you leave this classroom and go enter any society group, any business group, any family WhatsApp group, there will be this one old uncle who irritates every morning. Who is this Modi fan or some other party ka fan? Every morning he will say that Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj did this, Mahatma Gandhi did that. Uncle, how do you know? WhatsApp. Anything that has come on WhatsApp has to be true. We call them graduates from WhatsApp University. They say Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru did this to this religion. He did that to that religion. And bro, Nehruji is somewhere wondering, go make up here. I don't even know about it. That old irritating uncle has certainly sent a message on this. It was one of the most discussed aspects of PGBP the last full year. People thought that the government will give in to industry pressure, plus it was election year and maybe government will abolish. They did not. They did not. One thing they have realized is that over the next 5 years, we have to keep 2 babus happy. Mela Sona, Mela Babu, 2 babu. Which are those 2 babus? Chandra Babu and Nitish Babu. As long as they are happy, our government will survive. We will do whatever we want. Whatever we want, we will do. And they did not remove it. In India, we have a law called MSME Act, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. If you are a newcomer in business, you can take registration under that law. That law will protect you to receive payments on time. Under that law, if you are buying something from MSME registered people, means you have to make payment to MSMEs. MSMEs are small businesses. Look at their names: micro, small, medium businesses. Sir, how do you classify? In the MSME Act, there you are not in the Income Tax Act, that your investment in plant and machinery should be maximum this much, your capital should be maximum this much, your borrowing should be maximum this much. So one threshold is given for micro, little above micro is small and little above small is medium enterprise. If you are registered, so you will get payments on time. What was happening earlier? That there are some big businesses, crores of rupees, big large corporates. For reducing costs, they are making their day-to-day business purchases from small businessmen, MSMEs. And because the poor guy, small businessman cannot fight such a large corporate, a lot of payments were delayed, not made on time. The government hereby announces that we are now going to protect the interest of MSME. That MSME Act के अंदर MSMEs will be given their money on time. If they are not given on time, then this large corporate will have to give them interest also. So that MSME Act is taking care of itself. But somewhere these large corporates, supposedly I am Reliance Industries Limited, you are MSME registered taxpayer. I have made purchases. One thing you have to understand, that MSME is the seller of goods and services. And this large corporate is the buyer, the debtor. I am saying, listen, the total amount that I am buying from you is more than the total money that you have seen in your life. So to hell with MSME time limit. If you act too smart, I will not buy from you, I will buy from someone else. Now, while on one side, the government has enacted the MSME Act to protect your interest, but you only get afraid of my threat that, so what if the payment is late? I am a respected company. Soon or late, I will be making payment and you are ready to give money to me or credit to me for more than what is provided in the MSME period, the MSME Act. You are granting me excessive credit period compared to what is given. So basically, you are defeating the purpose of the MSME Act. And as a buyer, this large corporate is not scared of MSME Act at all, because I have convinced you to do a contract with me. Now, income tax law will stop me from taking deduction. You understand, the payment that I make to MSME, for me it is an expense. It is a business expense, which I will take deduction. But the moment we insert anything under 43B, what is the effect of that? I will get deduction, but only if paid. Means if I don't pay MSME on time, so my expense will be disallowed. Government says with this, MSMEs will start getting money on time. See, we are protecting interest. No, it had a negative effect. Now, large corporate who was always buying from MSMEs, listen to this carefully. They are all registered MSMEs. I was earlier making delayed payment but not getting affected in income tax. I was getting my deduction. Now, if I make delayed payment, I will lose deduction. I will have to pay tax. Correct? So now I tell these MSMEs, hey, you want to continue selling to me? You want to make profits to me? Bolo, surrender your MSME registration. Well, otherwise I won't buy only. But I am not going to pay on time. Come what now. But if you are MSME registered, then I will lose deduction. Now, some of these guys who did not want to lose their business actually surrender their MSME registration to be in business, because the tax part is a different thing. I will lose business. Where is the question of tax? Whole thing became negative. But then government has not abolished it. Is that clear? So what is this last thing? Now that you have understood the logic, we'll go into the detailing part of it. Any payment that you make to a micro or small enterprise. So one thing you have to immediately hit yourself. MSME are three enterprises, M, S and M. 43B covers only micro, small, which means what? Medium enterprises. Also, we will make purchases from them also. If those payments are unpaid, deduction will still be given. Deduction will still be given. You understood? Any payment made to micro or small enterprise after the due date in the MSME Act. So first of all, there is one due date in the MSME Act. Everyone pay attention. If I make payment within that date, so 43B won't come on. 43B will get activated if I miss that date. After the due date given in the MSME Act, if I make payment after the due date given in the MSME Act, if I make payment, that means have I violated MSME Act? So the expense has to be disallowed. You can still pay up to 31st March of the previous year. So note one more thing carefully. The time limit is 31st March. The extended time limit till June is not applicable. What is 43B? These expenses are unpaid on balance sheet day but paid before due date of return filing, which comes after some months. No problem. But for the MSME, the extended time limit is not applicable. So understand. PY, AY. Here our due dates come. All the other points of 43B, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, anything that is outstanding here, we won't check only. If it is outstanding here, then only it will be disallowed. But how is this point different? Here, you don't get this extended time. The payment has to be made up to this date. Means you have got 3 levels of escaping this point. If the receiver is medium enterprise, this point is not applicable. Do you understand? If the receiver is micro or small, then this point is applicable. You have made payment within MSME time limit. This point is not applicable. This point is applicable only if you have missed MSME time limit. You missed that, but still you paid within 31st of March. So again, not applicable. Means you have missed MSME time limit and you have missed 31st March both. Then only your expense will be disallowed. I'll make a flow chart to make you understand. You are debtor, buyer of MSME. Means you have to make payment to them. We want to protect their interest, like we are protecting interest of employees and government or public financial institution. Whose interest they are protecting here? MSME. So you please make sure you make payment on time. First of all, you go and check whom are you making payment to. Are you making payment to micro small enterprise or are you making payment to medium enterprise? Are you making payment to micro or small enterprise or are you making payment to medium enterprise? If you are making payment to medium enterprise, then 43B not applicable, not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. Therefore, your expense will be always allowed as a deduction. 43B is not applicable, expense will be allowed as a deduction. 43B is applicable only if the payee is micro small. Is that clear? Now to micro or small, I will go and check, is the payment done within the time limit given in the MSME Act? You have to make payment to MSMEs as per time limit given in that act. The two options are yes or no, but you won't understand unless and until you know that time limit. So first I will tell you what is the time limit of making payment to MSMEs under MSME Act. Then we will see if the payment is made within that time limit. If you have done a written contract, you MSME, me large corporate, hi MSME, hi corporate, let's do some business. Please sell some of your goods to me. I will make you payment within 20 days. So do we have a written contract? So then time limit will be as per contract. But I cannot force you to give me credit of more than 45 days. So if there is a written contract, as per contract, but then here I can use my dominant position to influence you. Hey, give me credit of 145 days, no please. And you do a contract, so you can't ask for money. Bro, let's be clear. Maximum 45. If contract, as per contract, maximum 45. So fantastic. Contract says 10 days. Yes, nahi, then pay within 10 days. 15 days, 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 45, 50 days, 40. You understood MSME time limit? And second possibility, if there is no written contract, if there is no written contract, so the time limit will be 15 days. If there is contract, as per contract cannot exceed 45 days. If there is no contract, so time limit will be 15. First check who you are buying from. If you are buying from medium, expenses allowed. Topic is over. If you are buying from micro or small, then check whether the payment was made within the time limit given as per MSME Act. Hello. Which can be what? If contract, then as per contract not exceeding 45. If no contract, then what are the two possibilities here? Possibility 1, I have made payment within the time limit. I have not paid. If I have paid within time limit, listen, then again this point is not applicable now. That means the expense is going to be allowed. Disallowance of 43B not applicable. Disallowance of 43B is applicable only where I have violated the MSME time limit to micro and small, not to medium. So have I violated? Have I crossed my 15 or 45 as the case may be? No problem. No problem. Last check. Still is it paid till the year end? So we are not granting you extra time till due date. We will stop at year end. Year end. Paid till 31st March. Again, what are the two possibilities? Yes. So if you miss MSME time limit, still no problem. Pay before year end. No problem. But if you miss that also, so therefore the expense will be disallowed under section 43B. Therefore the expense will be disallowed under section 43B. Medium is not covered. Micro and small miss MSME time limit as well as miss 31st March. When these three conditions are fulfilled, your expense will be disallowed. Means if it is medium, expense is allowed. If MSME time limit complied, expense is allowed. If 31st March is complied, the expense is allowed. And what is MSME time limit? If there is a written contract, as per contract, maximum 45. And if no written contract, 15 days. When this amendment came last year, I'll see if I have that. There was a question in the May 2024 RTP. It was a newly introduced amendment in that time. I'll see. There is, I have that RTP in my tab right now. Inter May 24 RTP. Okay. Whatever complication may be there in your theoretical discussion, when it actually comes to solving, it actually becomes very easy. See this. Mr. Anil started business of manufacturing tables. This is May 24 RTP. And by the way, this question is of course also there in the additional question bank given to you. Mr. Anil started manufacturing tables. He follows mercantile system. He purchased wood from three people, A, B, C. A is micro, B is small, and here there is a mistake, printing mistake in the RTP here. C is a medium enterprise. Obviously, they have given the dates as per PY 23-24. No, the same question is modified and asked in your additional question bank by changing PY to 24-25. I have put enough effort that you don't have to pick up these individual materials. All these things with modified answers as per applicable assessment here are incorporated in your book at one-stop solution. You do not have to touch a single book. Still, if you want to touch your problem, you get touchy sometimes. You want to touch books. Arey book bola na. I am talking about books only. Why? What is there to laugh in this? You want to waste unnecessary time, energy and money. That's your problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have purchased on 15 February. and payment as per written agreement is 30 days. We have made payment on 29th March. Have we paid within 30 days? तुमको you don't know how to count days, गधेड़ा. Have we paid within 30 days? No, no problem. Even if we have missed 30 days, is it still paid before 31st March? So this expense is going to be allowed. Understood? Let's talk about B, a small enterprise. I purchased on which date? 17th March. Value of the goods 7 lakh. No written agreement. If no written agreement, then I should pay within. When did I pay? 15th April. Have I paid within 15 days? No. Have I paid before 31st March? No. Then this expense will be disallowed. ये correct है? And C. When did I make the purchase? Medium enterprise. No need to check. Allowed. You understood? The whole thing is applicable only to purchases made from micro and small. How much deduction would be made available to Mr. Anil? Of course, that was AY 24-25. Answer will be 13 lakhs.
सर वो अगर सेकंड केस में यदि 50 डेज पेमेंट होता लेकिन 31st के बाद
तो MSME time limit not has been complied, no, not violated. Correct है? When will disallowance come? MSME time limit also violated and 31st March also violated. Both violated. Any one of them complied, the expense will be allowed. But here both are not complied, so the expense is disallowed. Clear hai everyone? Well, so I wanted to give you a live example of what we are doing. And remember here, when you violate MSME time limit, we still give you one more chance. That is 31st March. Listen, 1 minute. To answer your question, this point is only applicable after MSME. So if that is complied, you don't have to check 31st March. 31st March, you will check only if MSME time limit you have missed. But only 31st March, you won't get time till due date. If we start giving time till due date, then even this is allowed. MSME payment, you won't get time till due date. You understood? So the problem here was people who are making purchases in the later months of the year. See, I make purchase in April and I make payment in January, like 8-9 months later. It is still before 31st March. It won't affect me at all. But if I make purchase in the month of January, February, March, the moment I miss 31st March deadline, I'll cross MSME as well as year end. So all the payments made, all the purchases made in the later part of the year will become disallowed for me. If government makes this simple rectification that give time till June for these payments also. So people who have purchased in March also till October to will certainly make payment. Then there won't be any problem only. Industry is protesting that, sir, we can't be arranging funds in March ending. You understand? But then they are very, very clear on this. If you miss 31st March, we won't give you time limit, extended till June. Everyone is clear? So, micro and small, miss MSME and then miss 31st March also, then this point is going to be applicable. Ye clear hai? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the list of expenses that are covered under 43B. And if they are unpaid, they will be disallowed. While they are disallowed now, is it possible that you have in future made this payment? So what will happen in that future year? It will be allowed in that. We've seen this before. Where TDS, same thing, no? Current year disallow, future year allow. In fact, that was more complicated because in TDS there were permutations. Sir, what permutations? 30%, 100%. Year C, current year mein you do violation, so we disallow 100%. And future year mein you rectify your violation, so we allow also how much? 100%. Think about it. Think about it. This is my previous year. This is my assessment year. Except MSME, for everything else I get time till year. If I don't make payment till this date, so current year it is disallowed. But if I make payment somewhere year or year or year or year, that means can I say I am rectifying my mistake? So at this time it should be allowed. So here I disallow also 100 and allow also 100. TDS was complicated because there were two options for both. But here it is very easy. Disallow how much? 100. And future year allow also how much? 100, and to give effect to your PGBP sum, current year, will it be an expense which is debited? Because it is current year expense, but we have to disallow. So what we will do? Add in the current year. Future year mein, it is an expense which won't be debited, no, because it does not pertain to that year. But in that year, it is allowed expense. So in that year, what will we do? So current year mein you add, future year you less, and that will give effect to your 43B adjustments. 43B, ladies and gentlemen, fix matlab fix every paper, inter or final. You will always get section 43B adjustment. 32, 35, 37 2B, 40 small a part 1 and part 2, 40A subsection 2 sometimes, 40A subsection 3 always, 43B always. So effectively these 6-7 sections will comprise of at least 10 marks. Understood, everyone? This, ladies and gentlemen, completes what? We are done with allowed and disallowed expenses. We are done with allowed and disallowed expenses. At this stage, we can actually go and solve questions of PGBP. We have done questions on individual concept of depreciation, but full-fledged question we will be doing. Whatever we have been continuously discussing since the beginning of the chapter, add less no effect, time has come to implement. But before we go to that, I just want to tell you about couple of other points to be noted. Allowed, disallowed over, other points to be noted. First, did I tell you about section 38? Partly personal, partly professional, तो proportionately disallowed वाला? No. Did I tell you about section 38? Composite use of assets. Yes. So that part is over. Couple of other points. If there is recovery of a deduction taken earlier, or cessation of any liability, or violation in a future year, it is going to be considered as your taxable PGBP income. And copycats are copying in so much excitement that bus only copying this much is going to explain everything. So explain. Explain no. Over excitement if you are copying. So. Oh, chino chiku chibu. Explain no. She's not even reacting. Explain no. If in over excitement you are copying, classroom is meant to listen to me. Because what you are writing is exactly ऐसा नहीं है that you are writing my example. Show me in your notebooks that the oral example that I give you, you have written that. You are only copying what I am writing. So that will come on record. You are writing my example because that is real class notes if you are taking them. So now understand. I have taken deduction of bad debts. Actual bad debts I can take, but in future if the debtor pays me, do you understand this line? In accounts also we recognize it as income only, no? Bank account debit to bad debts recovery. And in tax it will be considered as taxable income. If taxable or not taxable, correct? Not allowed or disallowed. Next thing that you check is in the accounts. It can be debited or income, credited or not credited. In the accounts it can be credited or not credited. If credited, no effect. If not credited, then add. Understood? Bad debts recovered. Now you understand it will be taxable PGBP income. Cessation of liability. English. Supposingly you are my creditor. Means what I must have done once upon a time. Booked an expense, taken deduction and shown you as my liability. Some years later, you say waived. I don't want money. Do you understand this is a liability which I no longer have to pay? How will you remove this liability from accounts? I want to know, because in balance sheet it is still in my liabilities, but you and me now know we don't have to pay. How will you eliminate it in accounts? Bolo, 90 plus in accounts, 100 out of 100 in accounts. Give me the answer. How will you remove this from accounts? Creditors account debit. And to what? To P&L account. Because I no longer have to pay that creditor. Do you realize it is my taxable income now? If you write in general reserve, then add. And if you write in P&L, then no. Correct? Eh? And third, violation in a future year. Supposingly, I buy some goods from you on credit. So purchase account debit to creditor account. On accrual basis, I took deduction of that 1 lakh. No problem. Now my 1 lakh will become due. I paid in cash. When I purchased on due basis, there was no violation. I took deduction. But now is there violation on the payment date? Which violation? More than 10,000 paid in cash. So the deduction that I have taken earlier on accrual basis of my credit purchases 1 lakh, or maybe if I pay only 60, then only that much amount of violation. That deduction has to be reversed. How do you reverse a deduction? By paying tax on it. So if there is any recovery, or you don't have to pay anything, or earlier you have taken deduction but now you have violated, so you will have to do what? Pay tax on that amount. Is that clear? And one more thing you should know for your general knowledge: if you have any unexplained, this is the most important word of this concept. Most important word. If you have this word, this point is applicable. If you don't have this word, this point is not applicable. This point is applicable only as long as you have this word. What do you have? Unexplained, 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 unexplained. What? Cash credits. If you have explanation, this is not applicable. Only when you don't have explanation, this is applicable. You have what? Cash credits. You have idea what is cash credit? Okay. Simple accounting language matter. Credit balance in cash account. Credit balance in cash account. Accounting may we also call it negative cash. 1 minute. Cash account. Real account. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Whatever has come in, you write here. Whatever goes out, you write here. Credit balance means this, no? Credit balance in cash account means your outflow is more than inflow. Arey, how? How can money go out when it has not come in? You put 100 rupees in your pocket and 101 rupee comes out. How pocket is giving interest? The reason is you have not recorded that 1 rupee here. Negative cash means you are missing some debits. You are missing some inflows. Give explanation. For example, demonetization. You deposit money in your account. That means there is outflow. Bro, where is the inflow? Please explain. If you have explanation, this section is not applicable. But if you don't have explanation, it will be covered here. You understood the most important word? If you have any unexplained income, supposedly 1 crore cash in found in your premises. What do you tell the officer? Okay, sir, 1 crore income from other sources. Take tax. Arey, where did you get it from? What do you mean by take tax? What if it is terrorism money? What if it is murder extortion money? What if it is money laundering money? What is the source of your income? Just because you are ready to pay tax does not mean I will not explain where I earned it from. Sir, there were some birds flying with currency, they dropped it here. No, you need to give explanation. Otherwise, this section is applicable. If you have unexplained investments, you have gold coins, you have shared certificates. Now, in demat generation, you don't get to see shared certificate, but once upon a time, we used to have hard copy of shared certificate. You have property papers. and you have no explanation where you bought it from. If you have explanation, sir, my extremely rich father-in-law gave it to me. If you have explanation, this point is not applicable. If you don't have explanation, then this point will be applicable. Do you understand? Unexplained expenditure. Think about it. Similar to cash credit to a certain extent. If you are conducting a very, very expensive event party, so where did you get the money from? Means there is some income that you have not shown. Explain, no. Explain. Sir, you went to a foreign trip thrice a year. So you are incurring expense, no? Where has the money come from? Explain. Say no, sir. I am a CA. So my father-in-law gave it. See, if you become CA, your probability of getting a rich father-in-law increases. Motivation. Look at his eyes and look at the motivation. So what? Do what? Explain that my father-in-law sponsored. This section not applicable. But if you cannot explain, that means there is something dark in the lentil. Dal mein kuch kala. If you cannot give an explanation, that simply means there is some income that you are hiding. And now we caught you. You are gone, bro. You are gone. Such amounts will not go in your normal income tax rates. The tax rate applicable to this is going to be 60%. 60% tax. Basic tax. After basic tax, we have something called surcharge. Surcharge will come at 25%. And after surcharge, we have something called health and education cess. All this we will learn in tax rate chapter again, popularly known as HEC, 4%. And how many math geniuses your field? So therefore, sir, 89%. No, this 25% will be off 60, and this 4% will be on the total. Effective tax rate being 78%. If anybody has not derived 78 and have confusion, then tell me right now, I will explain. Then don't say, sir, 78 kaise hai? 60 plus 25 plus 4, 89. Or do one thing. Mentally, assume an amount of this. Say this is 10 lakh rupees, which you are not able to explain. What is the basic rate you will apply? 60. So on 10 lakh, when you apply 60, how much you got? 6 lakh. On that 6 lakh, there is surcharge of 25%. 1 lakh 50. So that total becomes 7 lakh 50. And on that 750, you will apply 4%, giving you 7 lakh 80, effectively being 78% of your unexplained amount. You understood? Bro, only tax. Interest, penalty, separate. So out of 100, please understand, 78 gone only in tax. After that, we will be leaving interest. After that, we will be leaving penalty. Then we will give you ज्ञान from the Holy Bhagavad Gita. तुम क्या लेकर आए थे? क्या लेकर आए? Holy Bhagavad Gita. तुम्हारा क्या था जो चला गया? Whatever you got from here. Whatever you have to renounce here. Nothing belongs to you. The materialistic world is of no use to you. Take this gyan and get lost. I'll give you another option. Do not indulge in any unexplained activity. Our government of late wants to become extremely, extremely strict when it comes to tax evasion in any form. And we will punish you and punish you badly, bro. Badly. Give explanation, escape this section. The moment you can't explain, sir, where this cash came from, where this gold coin came from, that much portion will be subjected to 60% tax. Effective being 70. Clear? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, congratulations, badhai ho, abhinandan. that is your chapter profits and gains of business or profession का calculation part. We have theory में we have one last concept called presumptive taxation. Books of accounts का maintenance and all they have given, but the calculation part of the chapter, believe me ladies and gentlemen, is hereby over. Today we reach a position in the chapter where we can actually go and solve any question of pgbp. Any, like, literally means any question of pgbp, to get an idea about whether we have really understood what has happened in the chapter or no. At least one question before we call it off. At the start of question number 53, page number 94, let me give you an advance intimation. This question won't come in exam. Bro, can you see the size of this question? PNL over question over. See, 1 minute. No need to read it, but just scroll to question 54. Do you see the PNL account? Then below the PNL, do you see so many points? Exam questions will be like this for 15 marks. But I am doing 53 for you as a trial. This 53 is not to check whether you know the sections of the chapter. This question is to check whether income, taxable or not taxable, and credited or not credited, expense, debited, not debited, allowed, add less, no effect. Something that I have been continuously pushing. Are you developing that habit? Development of that habit is more important than doing anything else. Is that understood? So ladies and gentlemen, let us see what do we have. Question 53, page 94. Please read the question.
From the following profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March 25, compute profit or gains of business or profession under normal provisions of the Act. Profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March. Two purchases.
Always go and read the credit side first, not because we have some affection towards it, but because the number of entries on the credit side will always be less. So we can say that we are done with one side. Always read the credit side first. What do we have? Now please understand what is your task. What is PGBP? Talk to this 50 lakh. Ask 3 questions. Get one conclusion. Add less, no effect, and take your marks home. Talk to it. Question number 1. Income or expense. And by the way, the answer to that question, don't come home saying, sir, I asked lot of times, but that 50 lakh never answered. Only it is income or expense. The answer you only have to do. Income or expense. Second question, accounts treatment, credited or not credited, and the answer is in the question. Believe me, anything here is income and credited. You just have to check whether it is allowed or taxable or not taxable. And anything that is here is expense and debited. You just have to check whether it is allowed or disallowed. But still, you follow the process, because in the greed of increasing the speed, you may end up making unacceptable mistakes. And then don't expect me to be soft, because the outside world is not going to be soft. I have to prepare you for that world. If I start behaving like you don't want to do today, you are not going to meet people outside the class. They are not going to behave with you like that. No. So we have to prepare to face them. So Mitro, talk to 50 lakh. Think about the question in your brain. Speak the answer from your mouth. For example, brain mein I am thinking income or expense, but I will speak income. Then I am thinking in my mind, credited or not credited. Credited. Then I am thinking in my mind, taxable or not taxable. So when I speak, I will speak income, credited, taxable. Final answer. So whenever we have to add or less, we'll put that small sign up. You can't be writing no effect in front of every amount. Bro, small plus minus done in your question paper, it won't be amounting to cheating. But such big things you write, it will first of all be considered as cheating. Poor guy, the supervisor does not know in CA exams you can't cheat. No one knows anything. You cheat if you don't know and the other person knows. No. So you won't be writing no effect, no effect. No effect, you know. We will give effect to anywhere we have to give. With this, we come to the debit side. See if you understand the system. Haji.
Two purchases 37 lakhs 90,000.
Think about the question and speak the answer. Expense, debited, allowed. Debited and allowed, no effect. Next.
Two salary 1 lakh 90,000.
Expense, debited, allowed. Debited and allowed, no effect.
Two income tax 15,000.
Mistake in the question. They are not specifying it is paid or unpaid because, you know, paid. हाँ नहीं, एक argument नहीं. Think and speak. When you speak at that time, we will judge whether it is right or not. Right now, speak. Think the question, think about the question and speak the answer. Expense, debited, paid, still disallowed. Why? Direct tax is disallowed. Then what conclusion? Add. You got your 1 mark. You understood? Next.
Securities transaction tax 4,000.
Yes, please. Expense, debited. If you don't know allowed or disallowed, you are unfit for the exam. Allowed or disallowed. PNL के अंदर it is given, तो what is the answer? Obviously trader है ना, it is given in PNL, he is doing it. 2 tight slaps I will give you. क्या है? You are solving a question, you don't have to be referring the theory. If this is how you solve, you are never going to pass. The only thing required in CA exam is, without checking the book, can I solve it on my own? And then every adjustment you go and check what was done in class, then so you will never get your marks. Without looking. Expense debited, till there you are safe. But the main thing taught to you in the law is allowed, disallowed. Allowed or disallowed? Why allowed?
It is not treated as investment.
It is not, nowhere they are talking about any investment or anything. When nothing is given, obviously your best option is to say that he is a trader and therefore allowed. And now take your conclusion also. No effect. Understood? Okay, next.
Commodities transaction tax 3,000.
He nahi. You don't have to do he. ये क्या है? Speak. Expense, debited, allowed. Debited and allowed, no effect. Next.
Penalty for breach of contract 10,000.
You don't have to. You're not understanding. You're not understanding. Okay? You're not following the process. Then next, allowed. Arey nahi, that's not the way. Then you are not doing justice to the time that we have spent in learning this. What are you going to do? Follow the process. Sir, the problem is, when it comes to an easy thing, like, this is so easy. It is not easy. When a difficult thing will come, no, you'll realize the importance of the process. So follow the process. Don't jump to answers. Follow the process. Follow the process. Expense, debited, allowed or disallowed. This is the only thing taught in the law. Penalty है, penalty. Allowed, penalty. Why? Because breach of contract, not breach of law. So it will be allowed. Okay, next.
Salary to proprietor 20,000.
Salary to proprietor 20,000. Remember this, that anything that goes to the proprietor or family member can never be considered as expense. It is always a drawing. Anything with respect to the owner of the business is always going to be considered as drawing. See, in partnership firm, there are different assesses, so we give within 40 billion. But in proprietorship, it is all going to be considered as drawing. Now talk to this amount. Expense, debited, disallowed. Why? Personal drawings. Therefore, add. Understood? Next.
To interest on own capital 5,000.
Expense, debited, disallowed. Why? Because anything paid to proprietor is drawing. Therefore, add. Next.
To LIC premium of proprietor 6,000.
Expense. Debited. Disallowed. Because it is personal. And therefore, add. Next.
To depreciation 30,000.
Okay, wait. Whenever you come across depreciation, you won't do anything at that time. The reason is, see, in this question, they have given depreciation as per IT rules, income tax rules, separate. So this is add as per books, less as per tax. But see, listen, I took you directly to that adjustment. At the end of the day, when you are going in the order of the profit and loss account, you don't know what the adjustment is going to come. So right now, you won't do anything to the depreciation figure. You will wait to reach here, then only you will take a call. If supposedly this line is not given, so do you realize this is only going to be considered as the allowed amount? So right now our answer is going to be no effect. Understood? Next.
To bad debt 20,000.
Come on. Expense, debited, allowed. Therefore, no effect. Next.
To provision for bad debt 9,000.
Expense, debited, disallowed because it is RDD. Therefore, add. Next.
To provision for gratuity 30,000.
G. Expense, debited, allowed or disallowed. If you don't know that, you are not fit for the exam. Allowed. Why? Why? Disallowed. But why? Give reason. It is, forget about due date. Before or after, it is a provision. Provision word itself means that it is not paid. And if it is not paid, matlab it will be allowed or disallowed? Disallowed. And therefore, add. And no talking with net profit. And that is going to be starting point. Last.
Depreciation as per IT rules.
IT rules.
IT rules amounted to 40,000.
Don't read beyond that. That's the answer that is printed. See, once you know that the depreciation as per tax is separate. So what is your conclusion? Add as per books and less as per. Do you realize we have solved the full question? Now all we have to do is, believe me, presentation. See, it will be net profit as per profit and loss account. That is always going to be your starting point. 8,60,000. Then we have an add side. We leave space for it. We have a less side. We leave space. Whatever we have studied, no? You know, we have marked everything. One by one, we write those amounts. We have actually solved the full question. We just have to copy wherever we have put the plus sign. That total will come here. This we will write here. Then on less side ka amount, we will write here without bracket. Total we will write here. And this will become our pgbp. See, please understand, in this question, we did not have too much of discussion about sections. Our target is process. And you are still not developing the habit. You are directly coming to allowed. Yeah, nahin. Unless and until you decide, come what may, in everything I am going to follow the 3 steps, you are always going to have a tendency of making a mistake. So this question will never come in exam, but the target was to set our system. Because we have some other difficult questions coming up. You will be completing this question and coming. I will still be, just taking the amounts from you, because presentation I have given you and we have fully solved it. And of course, we will go to the other questions of pgbp. Listen, now if you don't know allowed, disallowed expenses, no, I will not do questions, I am telling you. Because expense debited, that much part, so you're still managing. But the main thing that the law has given is allowed, disallowed. You can't be making mistake. Like gratuity, if it is clearly visible, it is provision. That means you know it is unpaid. So that was done today. I give you benefit of doubt. But then if you don't know depreciation or scientific research or 35 AD, I am not going to do questions. Please make sure you studied the full chapter. Tomorrow we finish all the questions. And most likely we have that limited presumptive taxation and books of accounts wala part also remaining. Time permitting, we will be finishing that also. We'll get almost done with the chapter in tomorrow's lecture. I will see you guys tomorrow. Please, thank you very much.